Chapter 907. With a smile in her eyes, she flicked her tongue. Little Xingxing waited for Du Xiaofu's gaze. She said in a clear, girlish voice, "You broke through again, even faster than me." Du Xiaofu smiled and said to little Xingxing, "How are you? Are you all right?" "I'm still a bit away from breaking through." Little Xingxing seemed a little disappointed. As soon as she spoke, her golden eyes froze. She looked at Du Xiaofu suspiciously and said, "That purple gold lightning just now, I felt a sense of déjà vu. It didn't seem like it would hurt me." "You've seen that purple gold lightning before?" asked Du Xiaofu. Little Xingxing was a mystery. Du Xiaofu couldn't help but be curious. Little Xingxing shook her head and said to Du Xiaofu, "I don't think so. But in my inherited memories, I felt that the purple gold lightning was very familiar. It wouldn't hurt me. It could even help me strengthen my body." Du Xiaofu sank into deep thought. He felt the changes in his body. The purple gold lightning gathered from the purple gold arcs really did cause his body to change a little. Although the changes in his body weren't great, Du Xiaofu knew that at his current level of physical strength, being able to strengthen even a little more was already an extremely frightening thing. "The more I learn about you, the more unfathomable you seem. What powerful lightning veins. You don't seem to be a human emperor or a human sovereign." Jiang Qin's figure appeared in front of Du Xiaofu. He looked at Du Xiaofu, his eyes rippling with a strange light. When he saw Jiang Qin, Du Xiaofu immediately asked anxiously, "Did you succeed? The Yin spirit crystal isn't too important to the bloodvine demon. It doesn't carry it on its person. It keeps it in its nest." "I've already succeeded." As soon as Jiang Qin finished speaking, he tossed something to Du Xiaofu. This was the plan the two of them had discussed when they'd first arrived. The bloodvine demon was powerful. Jiang Qin's strength had plummeted, and he couldn't do anything to it. He was worried that even if Du Xiaofu and Little Star worked together, they would not be able to do anything. Thus, the chances of a head-on clash were very small. They could only use their wits to win. Thus, the two of them decided that if things didn't work out, Du Xiaofu and Little Xingxing would work together to pin down the bloodvine fiend, while Jiang Qin, who was familiar with the situation, would sneak into the bloodvine fiend's lair and take out the Yin spirit crystal. Du Xiaofu caught the item Jiang Qin tossed to him. A majestic wave of energy rippled through the air, and a palm-sized gloomy orb of light appeared in Du Xiaofu's hand like a piece of dark jade. Runes flashed, causing one's origin spirit to tremble. "Yin spiritual crystal, this is a Yin spiritual crystal." Du Xiaofu was overjoyed and his heart trembled. The item in his hand was the Yin spirit crystal that Du Xiaofu had been looking for. When the time came, his master, the venerated equipment artifact, would be able to recover completely. "Hurry up and leave," Jiang Qin said to Du Xiaofu. "The bloodvine fiend is extremely petty. If it turns around and discovers that the Yin spiritual crystal is gone, it'll definitely chase after us. Now that the bloodvine fiend is back, it's hard to say who will emerge victorious." When he heard this, Du Xiaofu immediately put away the dark sect artifact and smiled faintly. Now that he'd made another breakthrough, Du Xiaofu felt that if he encountered the bloodvine fiend again, it was hard to say who would emerge victorious. Even before his breakthrough, Du Xiaofu estimated that, although the bloodvine fiend was strange and powerful, it wouldn't be able to do anything to him. However, he probably wouldn't be able to do anything to it. There's no time to waste. You must immediately strengthen your artifact spirit. Otherwise, when the great opportunity opens, it'll be too late for regrets, Jiang Qin said. Jiang Qin said calmly, "I hope there's still time." "Many thanks." Du Xiaofu smiled faintly and cupped his fists at Jiang Qin. Jiang Qin's purple robes fluttered as he glanced at Du Xiaofu. "Let's go. It's time for us to depart." Whoosh whoosh, several figures soared into the sky and disappeared in a flash. On the mountain peak, when Du Xiaofu arrived with Lin Weiqi, Dong Lidiao, and the others, Sun Wu, Tao Yu, the general, and Gu Xinyan heaved a sigh of relief. Many thanks to the Artifact Emperor and the 7-star Hall for your help. I can't thank you enough. On the mountain peak, the general, Wu Kei, Gu Xinyan, and the other Tianwu Academy disciples cupped their fists and thanked Du Xiaofu. In particular, the general and the others were extremely grateful. After all, they'd already been helped twice by him. There's no need to be so polite. The ancient Heaven sect and World Society are not far ahead. If you hurry over, you should be able to catch up. After Du Xiaofu spoke to the general, Gu Xinyan, and the others, he gestured to the 7-star Hall disciples. Following which, several figures soared into the sky and left. Watching the figures disappear into the sky, the general, Gu Xinyan, and Wu Kei remained motionless for a long time. I have a feeling. What do you guys think? The general turned around and asked Gu Xinyan, Wu Kei, and Li Yuxiao. We'll find out one day, Gu Xinyan said softly. Gu Xinyan said softly. Her beautiful eyes were shining. The mountain range was even more spectacular in this dim space, but the continuous cliffs were even more spectacular. The cliffs towered into the clouds. They were so tall that they looked as if they had been cut by a knife. It was as if some super expert had used an axe to split the mountain in half. The cliffs were continuous, leaving behind many crisscrossing abysses. This place was like the entrance to the underworld. It was magnificent. Black fog surged below, and the faint cries of ghosts and gods could be heard. It was frightening. Whoosh whoosh, hundreds of figures landed on one of the cliffs. They were the disciples of the 7-star Hall. In the lead were Lin Weiqi, Dongli Diao, Stone, and the others. Du Xiaofu surveyed his surroundings. Everywhere he looked were towering peaks and precipitous cliffs. In the distance, he occasionally saw strange, unknown plants. They grew in clusters, one after another. It's down there. There's a space there that can strengthen your artifact spirit. Jiangchen said to Du Xiaofu, gazing at the crisscrossing abysses below. Du Xiaofu looked down. Many of the abysses were bottomless. Black fog surged up and down, layer upon layer. It was a magnificent sight, and a murderous aura filled the sky. This place looks terrifying, said Stone, gazing at the black fog below. There's nothing terrifying about it. This place is special. There's no danger. As soon as Jiangchen spoke, he dove into the abyss. Everyone, be careful. Follow me, Du Xiaofu warned them, then followed. Inside the abyss, the thick black fog was so thick that one couldn't even see their own fingers. Thick black fog, surging murderous aura, and the occasional wail of ghosts and gods. The three blended into one, causing one's heart to palpitate. Arcs of purple-gold lightning danced in the black fog. They didn't know where they'd come from. His mighty aura made the ordinary evil spirits not dare to approach him. The further down they went, the stronger the aura became. Even space itself trembled. A chilling aura filled the air, emanating from the depths of the abyss. The terrifying aura made one's soul tremble. They couldn't help but feel awe. We've arrived. Finally, after nearly an hour, Jiangchen's figure landed on a giant cliff. Space rippled from the cliff in front of them, and rays of runic light spread out. Spatial ripples were rippling in this area, as if a crack had been torn open in space. The awe-inspiring aura in the void of the abyss just now had spread out from these rune-like cracks. It seems to be a sealing formation. Du Xiaofu landed behind Jiangchen, gazing at the runic cracks. The runes were faintly discernible, and the aura emanating from them caused even his nascent divinity in his Naiwan palace to tremble. This is a sealing formation, but a few decades ago, a crack appeared. That's why no one else or evil spirits have discovered it. The item you need to strengthen your artifact spirit is inside. Jiangchen gazed at the runic cracks, then said to Du Xiaofu, be careful when you enter. Although cracks have appeared in the seal, if your cultivation base isn't strong enough, you'll be crushed to pieces as soon as you enter. Everyone, be careful. Du Xiaofu nodded, then immediately warned the 7-star hall disciples behind him. Hiss. Jiangchen stepped forward, his body enveloped in light. Then, he burrowed into the crack. As a ray of light rippled from the crack in the seal, his figure immediately disappeared. Hiss. Then, Du Xiaofu and the others escorted the 7-star hall disciples, who were of average strength, into the crack. When the last person entered the crack, the seal began to fluctuate violently. The dark space was even darker than the outside world. This was a misty place. It was deathly silent, as if no one had ever set foot here before. Hiss hiss. Space rippled in midair, and then, one figure after another descended into the deathly silent space. It was Du Xiaofu and the others. Heavens! When Du Xiaofu and the others appeared, they couldn't help but gasp in astonishment when they saw the scene before them. Following which, their faces were filled with shock and disbelief. This was an enormous space, but at this moment, it was filled with densely packed piles of weapons. Weapons filled the mountain and the ground. Spirit weapons, talisman weapons, Dao weapons. This space was densely packed with ancient auras. Xiao Yu is still writing. Brothers, let's watch it tomorrow morning. Don't delay your rest. Chapter 908. This space was like a sea of weapons. The densely packed weapons numbered in the tens of millions. However, these weapons did not give off any energy fluctuations. Some were even covered in rust, as if they had existed here for countless years. So many weapons. Spirit weapons, talisman weapons, Dao weapons, high-grade Dao weapons. Tao Yu, Yuming Yuan and the other Migres Palace disciples landed and rummaged through the densely packed weapons. However, Tao Yu and the others soon discovered that these densely packed weapons did not give off any energy fluctuations. They were just piles of scrap metal. Without energy, these spirit weapons, talisman weapons and Dao weapons lost their power. They were useless even if they were obtained. They were just piles of scrap metal. Even if they were melted down and reforged, they would lose their value. What's going on? Where did the energy in these Dao weapons and talisman weapons go? Tao Yu, Yuming Yuan and the others were heartbroken. For talisman masters, seeing these countless weapons turn into scrap metal was undoubtedly heart-wrenching. Even if these weapons were damaged, they could still collect them and melted them down to reforge. This was equivalent to obtaining countless refining materials. These densely packed weapons covered the sky and covered the earth, covering the mountains and plains. What kind of refining materials would that be? Once they were brought out, it would be enough for the Migres Palace to not have to worry about refining materials for hundreds or even thousands of years. It was a pity that these densely packed refining materials that covered the mountains and plains had all turned into scrap metal at this moment. Which bastard is so wasteful? Yuming Yuan's heart ached as he cursed the culprit who had destroyed so many refining materials. Jiangchen gazed at the vast space of weapons, then turned to Du Xiaofu and said, "This place is very strange. You can use external forces without being restricted. Take out your weapons and you'll be able to attract the guy inside. However, be careful, it's not to be trifled with. Fortunately, this space seems to have restricted its intelligence. Otherwise, even if I was at my peak, I would have to avoid it. You can use weapons in this place." Du Xiaofu was slightly taken aback. Then, he waved his hand. Suddenly, the entire sky shook, and a greenish-golden light burst out from his palm. In the next moment, a green-gold longsword appeared in Du Xiaofu's hand. A domineering and fierce aura filled the air, and it clanged in the air. This azure gold longsword seemed simple and crude, but it was actually extremely nimble. The arc of the blade was elegant, and azure gold light shone brightly. Runes flowed around it as if it was formed by nature. It was the tyrannical shadow that Du Xiaofu hadn't used for a long time. Can we really use weapons now? Headstone was overjoyed. With a wave of his hand, the demon-slaying axe appeared in his palm. An ancient energy emanated from the demon-slaying axe. Its aura surged, and its power was no less than Du Xiaofu's tyrannical shadow. The aura of the demon-slaying axe was even more unfathomable than the aura of Tyrant's shadow. Qi La, at that moment, Du Xiaofu and Stone summoned tyrannical shadow and the demon-slaying axe. The vast space of weapons suddenly trembled. Then, the densely packed swords, spears, swords, and halberds on the ground began to ripple like the tide. Crack, crack, the ground moved. It was as if something terrifying was drilling through the swords, spears, swords, and halberds. Large swaths of space began to distort. Then, under everyone's astonished gazes, a large number of swords, spears, swords, and halberds began to soar into the sky, then swept out in all directions. Many dazzling runes began to bloom in the vortex, and an exceptionally dense energy undulated from it. Crack, crack, a large number of swords, spears, swords, and halberds converged. Finally, under everyone's astonished gazes, the countless swords, spears, swords, and halberds seemed to come to life. They began to condense into a 100-meter-long dragon that coiled in the air. This enormous dragon was completely condensed from swords, spears, swords, and halberds. It seamlessly condensed together, and its eyes were two enormous hammer-shaped weapons that glowed with runes. Accompanied by a vast aura, it looked down on Du Xiaofu, Jiangchen, and the others. So powerful. The vast aura swept down, causing Lin Weiqi, Dongli Diao, Stone, and the others to tremble. Everyone could sense that the weapons in the divine watchtower were trembling, as if they wanted to drill out and submit to the enormous dragon. Buzz! Tyrannical shadow in Du Xiaofu's hands emitted a buzzing sound. Faced with the enormous dragon and its terrifying, ancient aura, it seemed to be suppressed. Ayo! The enormous dragon roared, causing the countless weapons in the area to tremble. Then, the runic light in its eyes stared intently at Du Xiaofu's tyrannical shadow and Stone's demon-slaying axe. What on earth is this thing? It's so strong. Du Xiaofu's eyes narrowed. He could sense that the dragon's aura wasn't any weaker than when he'd faced Jiangchen. This is the weapon spirit that was born in this space. There should be some magical artifacts or even higher-level divine weapon fragments in this pile of weapons. Some of the weapon spirits that were left in the divine weapon fragments have been involved in this for a long time, and this weapon spirit has been born in this pile of weapons. Jiangchen said to Du Xiaofu. This artifact's soul absorbed the power of the weapons here and grew to a terrifying level. Fortunately, it hasn't completely developed sentience yet. It's just a remnant of some of the original artifact spirits. If it did, it would be absolutely terrifying. Du Xiaofu's eyes narrowed. From Jiangchen's words, he could roughly guess the origin of this artifact's soul. This artifact's soul had devoured the power of the weapons here. It was easy to imagine how terrifying its growth had been. Ayo! The enormous dragon roared, staring intently at the demon-slaying axe in Stone's hands. It seemed that the aura of the demon-slaying axe attracted the dragon even more. With a roar, it charged towards Stone. Demon-slaying axe. Stone's eyes trembled as the boundless aura surged towards him. He roared, and the ancient axe in his hand exploded with divine light. Swish! With a chop of the axe, Stone left his hand. Wind and clouds surged in the sky as an extremely terrifying energy swept out from the ancient axe. Crackle! The axe was dazzling, transforming into a bolt of lightning that slammed into the enormous dragon. Rumble! The two collided, causing the air to tremble violently. A terrifying aura swept out. Thud thud. In almost an instant, Tu's sturdy body was sent flying. He flew several dozen meters in the air before finally landing on the ground in the distance. Instantly, Stone's face turned deathly pale. Blood spurted from his mouth, and the demon-slaying axe in his hand fell to the side. Ayo! The enormous dragon roared, seemingly uninterested in Stone. It rushed towards the demon-slaying axe, as if intent on devouring its ancient aura. Swish. At this moment, a sword ray swept over. The azure and golden brilliance shone brightly, almost drowning the surrounding space. The sword ray instantly spread to the back of the enormous dragon with lightning speed. Buzz! This was Du Xiaofu's attack. The tyrant's shadow simply slashed out, but at this moment, it contained the power to move mountains and drain seas. This sword was enough to shake mountains and rivers, collapse mountains and crack the earth, and destroy everything. Bang bang bang. Wherever this sword ray passed, cracks appeared on the ground of the densely packed weapons plaza below. A large number of weapons cracked and shattered, and the ground cracked. Ayo! The enormous dragon seemed to have sensed something and instinctively turned its head. A dazzling rune light that resembled a spear shot out from its mouth, directly colliding with Du Xiaofu's sword. Crackle! The two energies collided, and Du Xiaofu's sword ray was only in a deadlock for a moment. Then, under the shocked gazes of many people, the sword ray was directly destroyed. Thump thump. A terrifying force rushed over, and Du Xiaofu's body was swept away and forced to retreat. The terrifying force swept over. If it weren't for the fact that Du Xiaofu's sword had broken through to the Nirvana realm before coming here, he probably would have been sent flying. So strong. Du Xiaofu was shocked. The enormous force swept over him, causing his blood and qi to churn. This weapon's spirit was actually so strong and terrifying. No wonder Jiangchen said that if this weapon's spirit had truly gained sentience, even he would have had to retreat. Tyrant Shadow Transformation. As Du Xiaofu's figure was pushed back, layers of light bloomed from the tyrant's shadow in his hand. The blade instantly transformed into layers of chain horns. Dazzling azure gold talisman patterns blossomed like the golden feathers of a golden-winged ping bird. The tyrant's shadow instantly turned into an azure gold sword whip separated from the sword body and coiled around the weapon dragon. Crackle! The azure and golden sword whip transformed like a spirit python, a flood dragon soaring into the sky, and a rock shaking the sky. The young master's sword is so strange. Dongli Diao, Lin Weiqi, Tao Yu, Yu Mingyuan, and the others had already retreated far away. They knew that they wouldn't be able to help much in a fight like this, so it was better to retreat as soon as possible, lest they add to the young master's troubles. Swoosh swoosh. The azure and golden sword whip swept out fiercely, agile and bewitching. At an inconceivable angle, it wrapped around the enormous dragon. Ayo! The enormous dragon roared, and runes spread all over its body. Just as the tyrant's shadow wrapped around it, a terrifying suction force swallowed up the tyrant's shadow's energy into its body. Chapter 909. Not good. Du Xiaofu's expression instantly changed. He hadn't expected such a turn of events. The suction force of the weaponized dragon wasn't just devouring his attack energy, it was also devouring the energy within the tyrant's shadow. It was completely impossible to resist. Retreating with all his might, the frighteningly agile and bewitching sword whip circled back and forth. But no matter how hard Du Xiaofu tried, he couldn't escape the dragon's devouring. Boom! At the same time, Du Xiaofu abruptly raised his head. Lightning surged in his eyes, sharp and terrifying. His hand's seals changed, and lightning enveloped the surroundings. A tyrannical and fierce aura of punishment suddenly swept out. Crackle, lightning poured into the tyrant's shadow, and a vast oppressive force of lightning emanated from the azure sword whip. In an instant, it was as if a lightning dragon was circling around it. Crack crack, finally, under the full force of Du Xiaofu's lightning energy, the huge weapon dragon's body trembled. It seemed to be filled with some kind of fear and instinctive fear. Only then did the green gold sword whip take advantage of this opportunity to wrap around it, before swiftly withdrawing. Crash! The azure sword whip was bewitching. Finally, it returned to its natural, simple, and elegant form. However, its aura had clearly been greatly weakened. This guy is too strong. I feel like I don't know what to do. Little Xingxing raised his head, his golden eyes staring intently at the weaponized dragon in front of him. He was worried for Du Xiaofu. Don't let the weapons near the weapon soul. It will devour the weapon's energy to strengthen itself. You can put your weapons away now. Jiangchen watched from afar and said to Du Xiaofu, it doesn't have intelligence yet. You can't attack it forcefully. Don't provoke its instinctive resistance. Otherwise, we'll all be in trouble. If you want it to become your weapon soul, you'll have to think of another way. Hearing this, Du Xiaofu and the heavily injured stone immediately put away the tyrant shadow and demon-slaying axe. After Du Xiaofu and stone put away the tyrant shadow and demon-slaying axe, the weaponized dragon roared endlessly, as if puzzled. It searched everywhere for the aura of the tyrant shadow and demon-slaying axe. What should I do? There's no way to suppress it. Du Xiaofu frowned at the distant Jiangchen. Even if he used all of his power, he wouldn't be able to suppress the weapon spirit. Du Xiaofu had a solemn expression on his face as he wanted to turn this artifact spirit into his own artifact spirit. This artifact soul is like a newborn baby right now. You can try to coax it into accepting you and making it feel close to you. If you have the opportunity to place your soul imprint in this artifact soul, then it will be considered a success. Jiangchen looked at Du Xiaofu and frowned slightly. I'm not too sure about that either. Whether or not you succeed will depend on yourself. However, you'd best hurry. In 20 days at most, the final opportunity will begin. Coax the artifact soul. Beneath his mask, Du Xiaofu was slightly taken aback. He stared at the massive dragon of weapons. There was no way he could force his way through, so he could only listen to Jiangchen's suggestion and give it a try. The artifact dragon roared, searching everywhere for the artifact spirit. However, there was no trace of it. It seemed to be growing impatient. Du Xiaofu frowned inwardly. He stared up at the sky and thought for a moment. Suddenly, his gaze flickered. Then, Du Xiaofu pulled out an ordinary spirit artifact and tossed it at the artifact dragon. Sizzle! The artifact dragon opened its mouth and swallowed the spirit artifact Du Xiaofu tossed into its mouth. After a few short breaths, it spat it out again. However, by now, the spirit artifact dragon had lost all of its power. It had become a pile of scrap metal. There were no longer any fluctuations of power. The artifact dragon stared at Du Xiaofu, its mouth glowing with artifact runes. It was like a living creature licking its tongue, as if it hadn't had enough. Do you want more? Du Xiaofu's gaze flickered. He tossed another spirit artifact to the artifact dragon. Just like before, the artifact dragon swallowed the spirit artifact and spat out another piece of scrap metal. At this moment, when the artifact dragon's rune eyes looked at Du Xiaofu again, its aura was obviously much gentler. It's done. There's a chance to succeed. Give me the artifact rune weapons you don't want. Du Xiaofu's eyes lit up as he said to the people behind him. Seeing this, everyone was excited and happy. They immediately gave Du Xiaofu the artifact rune weapons and rune weapons they didn't want. Therefore, Du Xiaofu began to accompany the artifact dragon in this space as if he was teasing a child. He fed it and communicated with it at the same time. Du Xiaofu's efforts seemed to have an obvious effect. Under Du Xiaofu's feeding, the artifact dragon's aura was much gentler towards Du Xiaofu. However, the artifact dragon still couldn't let Du Xiaofu get too close to it. It was obviously not an easy task to get the artifact soul to completely get close and trust him. Du Xiaofu had no other choice. He could only slowly waste time with the artifact soul in this space. In order to strengthen the artifact soul in the purple gold heavenly palace, Du Xiaofu could only wait. This was not something that could be done in a day or two. Fortunately, the artifact soul had no evil intentions towards them. It just wanted to swallow the energy of the artifact rune weapons. You're not so generous to me. Seeing Du Xiaofu giving large amounts of artifact rune weapons to the artifact dragon to swallow, little Xingxing pouted and rolled her eyes at Du Xiaofu. Her clear and childish voice was obviously full of jealousy. The space was dark and many evil spirit auras dissipated in the air. There had just been a fierce battle here. On a mountain top, hundreds of young men and women stood together. The auras of these young men and women fluctuated slowly. They all had outstanding temperaments. The invisible auras fluctuated and made people shudder. These evil spirits are getting stronger and stronger. In front of everyone, a woman with bright eyes and faint purple pupils spoke. She was Sima Muhan of the Ancient Heaven sect. At this moment, other than the Ancient Heaven sects if, Jiling, Yin Machen, Ji Aoming, and Si Ruofeng, there were also the World Society and Du families Du Xiaoqing, Du Xiaoyao, Little Tiger, Silver-Winged Demonic Condor, Du Yunlong, and Du Xiaoman. Yi Piaoling, Qiangu Yu, Silver Fox, Tianwu Academy's General, Gu Xinyan, and Li Yuxiao were also present. After the general, Gu Xinyan, and the others left with the disciples of the Seven-Star Hall, they immediately followed Du Xiaofu's instructions and caught up with the Ancient Heaven sect and Du family's World Society. The World Society was originally not well known in the Central Province. It was just that during this period of time, the World Society had become a part of several major powers. In addition to the rise of Du Xiaoqing, Little Tiger, Silver-Winged Demonic Condor, Yi Piaoling, and Qiangu Yu, the World Society had swept through the sealed ancient land. This caused the World Society's name to become extremely famous in the sealed ancient lands. You guys were also saved by the Weapon Emperor, Xiao Feng. Du Xiaoman asked Zhang Lu, Guo Qing, and the others from the Tianwu Academy. Her brows were slightly furrowed and there was a trace of doubt in her eyes. Zhang Lu nodded her head. Her hair was tied up in a ponytail, and her tight dress outlined her exquisite figure. She had a pretty face, and her eyes were bright. She said to Du Xiaoman, Senior Xiaoman, that Weapon Emperor Qiao Feng's strength is really too terrifying. If it wasn't for his help, I'm afraid that all of us would be doomed. It's him again. Du Xiaoman's pretty face was slightly lifted. Her pitch-black eyes were as clear as a stream. There was an indescribable sense of purity and refinement on her body. Her rather sexy attire and her slender and straight legs seemed to be silently enchanting. Du Xiaoyao stood on Du Xiaoqing's shoulder and her golden eyes flickered. She looked ahead and pretended not to hear anything. All right, it's time for us to set off. We should be reaching our destination soon. However, to reach our destination, we have to cross the Evil Spirit Dead Beach first. That is a place of great danger, so you guys have to pay attention to your safety. Sima Muhan's purple eyes glowed with intelligence and charm as she reminded those from the World Society, Du Clan, and Tianwu Academy. In comparison, the overall strength of the Ancient Heaven sect was stronger than that of Tianwu Academy, Du Clan, and the World Society. Everyone, be careful. Du Xiaoman said to the people of the Du family and the World Society. She was wearing an orange-red loose garment that was tied around her waist. Unexpectedly, she was not slim at all. Under her short skirt, her legs were slender, tall, and fair, looking exceptionally hot. Someone's coming, and it's a powerful lineup. Du Xiaoyao, who was looking into the distance, suddenly felt her gaze tremble. She could sense that there were many people rushing over from the front. Swish swish, when everyone heard this, their gazes immediately swept towards the sky in front of them. Swish swish, in the dim sky in the distance, many streaks of light suddenly flew over from afar. After a few flashes, they appeared in the sky. The aura of the group was very powerful, and there were several hundred of them. The fluctuations of their auras caused the disciples of the Ancient Heaven sect to pay attention. These hundreds of young men and women were dressed very strangely. Although their clothes were different, they were all dressed differently. Regardless of whether they were male or female, there was a lifelike sword-shaped pattern embroidered on their shoulders. In the sky above, a group of young men who emitted a faint and cold aura swept down from the dark sky. Then, this young man landed in front of Sima Muhan, Shui Ruhan, Chen Ling, and Du Shaoqing. This young man looked to be around 24 or 25 years old. He had fair skin and a pair of dazzling black eyes that seemed to be able to see through reincarnation. When he was serious, they were like the cold stars. When he was silent, he was as cold as ice. The side of his face was as sharp as a knife. The young man's appearance and expression gave people a feeling of extreme sharpness, like a sharp sword that had been unsheathed. The young man wore a long robe and had a slender figure. On his back, there were 3 sheathed long swords that spread out like a fan. The 3 long swords were gold, white, and yellow respectively. When Sima Muhan, Shui Ruhan, Chen Ling, and Yin Machin looked at the young man in front of them, their gazes flickered. Chapter 9-10. The young man landed and looked around. Finally, he asked Sima Muhan, "Is Qiao Feng here?" "Nameless, why are you looking for Qiao Feng?" Besides Sima Muhan, Shui Ruhan slowly walked out. Her eyes were filled with spirit as she stared at the sharp man. Her cheeks were slightly dimpled, and her beauty was unparalleled. Her eyes had a faint blue light like the sea. "I heard that he's the disciple of the weapon sovereign. I've been looking for him for a long time." The young man called Nameless scanned the crowd and looked at Shui Ruhan. "It seems that Qiao Feng has left again. However, we'll meet again. When that time comes, I'll defeat him." "Do you have a grudge against Qiao Feng?" Sima Muhan frowned and asked Nameless. "No grudge. It's just a debt from 1,400 years ago," Nameless said. Everyone from the ancient sky sect, Du Shaoqing, Yi Piaoling, Du Yunlong, and Du Xiaoman were confused. The crowd found it hard to imagine that Qiao Feng, the weapon emperor, and Nameless were related to 1,400 years ago. "It seems that you're quite confident. However, why do I feel that you'll most likely not be Qiao Feng's opponent when the time comes?" Sima Muhan pouted and looked at Nameless. "I know you. You're Sima Muhan, the daughter of the ancient sky sect's leader, Sima Tuxing. You have the talent of a human sovereign, and you're quite accomplished in the way of the sword." Nameless looked at Sima Muhan and said softly, "However, you won't be my opponent in the way of the sword. I can tell you that if you want to defeat me, you'll have to think of other ways." "Is that so? Then we can try it now." Hearing this, Sima Muhan pouted. Runes spread out from her light purple eyes, and a fierce aura spread out from within her graceful body. "Now is not the time. There will naturally be a chance when the time comes. Of course, the prerequisite is that you can cross the evil spirit dead beach." Nameless profound chi surged under his feet, and he immediately flew away. Whoosh whoosh, in the air, the hundreds of people also quickly left and disappeared in the air once again. "Humph." Sima Muhan snorted and stomped her feet. It is said that John Doe's attainments in swordsmanship and his cultivation in swordsmanship are so high that even the elders in the sect are ashamed of their inferiority. He is indeed a difficult person to deal with. Shui Ruhan gently patted Sima Muhan's shoulder. Her voice was as gentle as water, like the sound of nature. Standing beside Sima Muhan, she was like a lotus bud that had just emerged from the water, pure and untainted. "I don't believe that my attainments in the sword Dao are inferior to his." Sima Muhan was obviously unconvinced. Ever since she lost to that guy, she had spent a lot of time and energy to comprehend the Bright Saint Sword Manual. She did not believe that John Doe could be stronger than her. It doesn't matter if your sword Dao is insufficient, as long as you can suppress him in other areas. Xiang Ling stepped forward with a deep smile on his face. He said to Sima Muhan, "The people of the Huijian sect specialize in the sword Dao. They do have a lot of skills in the sword Dao, but they are only powerful in the sword Dao." As his voice fell, his eyes moved and he added, "However, that Nameless is indeed a dangerous person. Let's go to the evil spirit dead beach first. There will be a fierce battle there." Ruo Shui Ruhan said softly, her blue eyes slightly focused. At that time, who knew how many people would die on the evil spirit dead beach? But only by crossing the evil spirit dead beach could one obtain the great opportunity. Go! In the vast weapon space, Du Xiaofu threw out a practitioner weapon. AO! The weapon dragon opened its mouth and swallowed the symbol weapon. A moment later, it spat out a piece of scrap metal. Then, it intimately circled around Du Xiaofu's side. The runes in its eyes looked at Du Xiaofu, as if it had not had enough. There are not many practitioner weapons left, Du Xiaofu smiled bitterly. A total of 8 days had passed. Du Xiaofu had taken thousands of spiritual weapons from the disciples of the 7-star hall, as well as hundreds of practitioner weapons. They had all been swallowed by the weapon dragon and turned into scrap metal. This made Du Xiaofu's heart ache. It was as if his heart was bleeding. But after paying such a huge price, he had obtained a lot of benefits. A few days ago, the weapon dragon dared to come close. Yesterday, it even made Du Xiaofu sit on its back. However, Du Xiaofu sensed that yesterday was not the time to place a soul imprint on the weapon's soul. If the weapon's soul was frightened and resisted, all his previous efforts would be for naught. It would be impossible for him to use this move again. He also didn't have that many spiritual weapons and practitioner weapons to use. Hiss! Du Xiaofu flew out, landed on the weapon dragon's head, and gently stroked it. The weapon dragon was like a living creature, intimately leaning against Du Xiaofu. It gently rubbed against Du Xiaofu's palm, its aura gentle. Now you can try. Use the power of your primordial spirit to guide the weapon's soul out. Otherwise, you won't be able to place a soul imprint. Jiangxin's voice traveled into Du Xiaofu's ears. If the weapon's soul trusts you, it'll naturally come out. Du Xiaofu's eyes moved when he heard this. He looked at the enormous creature beneath his palm. He was clearly aware in his heart that there was a terrifying existence within this enormous creature. At this moment, it was intimate and docile. Once he accidentally infuriated it, the consequences would be extremely terrifying. Connect with the primordial spirit, guide. When he heard this, Du Xiaofu formed a hand seal. Chapter 9-11. However, this mountain range was filled with a murderous aura. Black fog surged and not a single blade of grass grew in the surroundings, making one's soul tremble. On a mountain peak, figures flickered. There were thousands of people standing there. Looking carefully, it was the Saint Dongli Qi Huang and Qing Xing Nan from the Great Will sect and the Divine Light Court. The evil spirit dead beach is not far ahead. We need to wait for people from other forces to come. Otherwise, it will be difficult to cross the evil spirit dead beach. Dongli Qi Huang looked sideways at Qing Xing Nan. His eyes rippled brilliantly. His golden hair and red robes were enough to make countless women submit to him. When the time comes, be careful. This time, it is said that Spirit Sky Valleys and Lingjun, Huijian sects Wu Ming, Xiandu Gates Jiang Wolin, Sky Snake sects Xilong Yang, Xianming sects Ming Rongyin, Ancient Heaven sects Ruo Shuihan and Shenling are all extremely talented and powerful people. Qing Xing Nan looked sideways. Hua Guang's eyes carried a soul-stirring power, making people feel ethereal and far away. Dongli Qi Huang looked at the woman in front of him and reached out to hold her slender fingers. He said softly, "Don't worry. This time, we will all enter the top 10. For you, I will definitely take first place. After we leave this place, we will get married early." Hearing Dongli Qi Huang's words, Qing Xing Nan's eyes rippled without leaving a trace. Qing Xing Nan looked at Dongli Qi Huang quietly. In his gentle manner, he quietly revealed a complicated expression that was difficult to detect. He did not say anything. It was just that within Hua Guang's eyes, there was a faint look of confusion. When he raised his head to look at the east-parting scarlet phoenix again, his eyes were filled with a smile that could move one's soul. Whoosh whoosh, behind him, the sound of wind breaking resounded. Hundreds of figures landed on the nearby mountain peak. The one in the lead was an extremely young man. His eyes shone with divine light, like the stars in the sky. He had a high nose bridge, fair skin, and a face as delicate as jade. However, he was bald. On the young man's bald head, there were 9 scars that looked like 9 mysterious runes, shining brightly. Immeasurable sect. Looking at the hundreds of people descending, Dongli Qihuang's beautiful eyes flashed with a faint coldness. His gaze then fell on the bald young man leading the group. On the mountain peak, the bald youth seemed to have sensed Dongli Qihuang's gaze. He raised his head slightly and looked at him. His scarlet brocade robe fluttered slightly, and there was a faint luster flowing on his sparkling skin. His entire body was fluctuating with an aura of supremacy. "Senior brother, are you from the Great Wolf sect?" Behind the bald and handsome young man, an extraordinary young man said in a relaxed manner. "Now is not the time to make a move. After the evil spirit dead beach, there will be a time to fight. Let's wait for now. The others should be arriving soon." The 9th level spiritual emperor's gaze flickered. His scarlet robe fluttered in the wind on the mountain peak, as if a god had descended. However, the fluctuating aura was able to calm one's soul and calm one's heart. A moment later, the people on the 2 mountain peaks began to sit cross-legged on the mountain peaks. They began to close their eyes and rest. It could be seen that everyone's faces were slightly solemn. Whoosh whoosh, 4 hours later, the sound of wind breaking resounded. Hundreds of figures descended on the mountain peak again. In front of these hundreds of figures, there was a man wearing a green robe with cloud sleeves. He raised his head slightly and looked at the 2 mountain peaks beside him. The green robe with cloud sleeves had long eyelashes that formed a shallow arc on his elegant face. His clear eyes flashed with a brilliance that could not be caught. However, if one wanted to peek at it, one would be unconsciously attracted by it. "And Ling Jun, you're not dead yet?" Just as the elegant man landed, a young man swept over from behind him. His silky smooth black hair cascaded down like a waterfall. It was loosely tied up with a scarlet ribbon. The young man also landed on an uninhabited mountain peak not far away. His thin lips were as light as water, and his skin was very white and delicate. A pair of bright and clear eyes emitted a gentle and warm light. However, there was also a kind of aura that rejected others. Looking from afar, the young man's entire body emitted an extremely terrifying aura. However, that aura was extremely restrained and ordinary people would not be able to detect it. "Ming Rongyin, isn't your profound underworld sect also here? You didn't lose an arm or a leg along the way, right?" The elegant man looked at the young man who landed and spoke in an extremely sharp tone. "Don't worry. Even you, and Ling Jun, didn't lose an arm or a leg. I definitely won't. I hope that you won't lose an arm or a leg at the evil spirit dead beach." Ming Rongyin's body emitted a faint aura. His words were sharp and sharp. He rolled his eyes at An Ling Jun. It seemed that the 2 of them were not on good terms. Immediately after, hundreds of figures landed behind Ming Rongyin. Their auras were extremely powerful. It was obvious that there were several martial emperor auras present. And Ling Jun did not speak again. He sat down cross-legged and began to close his eyes to rest. After Ming Rongyin's gaze swept across the surrounding mountain peaks, his bright eyes moved slightly. Then, he also closed his eyes to rest. Swoosh swoosh. After another few hours, the sound of wind breaking rang out again. In this part of the sky, there seemed to be a special kind of zither music coming from afar. The zither music was like a stream of water, like a whisper. The zither music spread in this dark space, causing the black aura in the air to ripple with small circles of ripples. Swoosh swoosh, at this moment, on the surrounding mountain peaks, the 9th level spirit emperor, Dongli Qihuang, Qingxing Nan, Ming Rongyin, and Ling Jun, and the others suddenly opened their eyes and looked towards the distant sky. In the sky, a beautiful figure swept through the air. Her sleeves fluttered in the wind as she landed gracefully. She was like a fairy that had descended, untainted by dust. The beautiful figure was dressed in a light yellow dress that fluttered in the wind. Her ink-black hair fluctuated with a soft luster. Her ethereal eyes were clear and ethereal. Her eyelashes were deeply arched, and the outline of her face revealed an otherworldly elegance. The woman landed on the mountain peak with a delicate smile on her face. She had the purity of a pear blossom and the brilliance of a cherry blossom, causing the hearts of many youths around her to surge. Xiandu Gate, Jiangruolin. On the surrounding mountain peaks, many youths cried out in surprise. Their eyes were somewhat dull. That woman was too beautiful. Compared to Qingxing Nan, she had a completely different style. She was pure and untainted, like a fairy. Whoosh whoosh, many figures, accompanied by extraordinary auras, landed behind the fairy-like woman. The hundreds of people scanned their surroundings, then closed their eyes and began to meditate. Not long after the fairy-like woman arrived, the sound of wind breaking came from behind her. A white-clothed youth landed on the mountain peak. His pair of extremely gentle and clear eyes were fixed on a handsome face. This youth was dressed in white, and his handsome face was sickly pale. However, there was a clear coldness to it. After the youth landed, hundreds of people landed behind him. Each of them had a snake-shaped badge on their shoulders. They were the disciples of the Sky Snake sect. As one of the 9 major forces, the Sky Snake sect was not inferior to the Great Will sect or the Ancient Heaven sect. Time passed slowly. Then, Wu Ming of the Intelligent Sword sect led the disciples of the Intelligent Sword sect to arrive. Then, Zhu Shui of the Profound Talisman sect, Guo Ming, and the others also appeared in this group of mountains. Then, many disciples of the Ancient Heaven sect, the World Society, and the Du family appeared one after another. On the surrounding mountains, every time someone arrived, it would cause some people to size them up. However, they would then continue to meditate. Everyone knew that it wouldn't be long before a great battle was about to begin. It would be a destructive battle. Who knew how many people would die in it? If they could preserve their strength now, they would have a higher chance of breaking through when the time came. Following the arrival of the disciples of the major forces, many small and medium-sized forces and their companions arrived one after another. It was not difficult to see that many people's auras were chaotic and looked quite miserable. Dongli Qi Huang, 9th level Spirit Emperor, Qingxing Nan, Jiang Wolin, Zhu Shui, Wu Ming, and Ling Jun, Ming Rongyin, Shi Longyang, and the others have all arrived. On one of the mountain peaks, Yin Machin looked at the surrounding peaks. A faint smile appeared on his handsome and elegant face. His eyes, which had been calm before, rippled at this moment. In the Ancient Heaven sect, he was only below Sima Muhan and Shui Ruhan. However, in this sealed ancient land, the 9 major forces had gathered. Yin Machin knew that if he were to face the 9th level Spirit Emperor, Dongli Qi Huang, and Ling Jun, and the others, who were the strongest of the major forces, he would be inferior. Dongli Qi Huang and Qingxing Nan are not good people. Du Shaoqing raised her eyebrows. A trace of coldness flashed in her eyes. She was unhappy with Qingxing Nan and Dongli Qi Huang. Ouyang Shuang looked at Du Shaoqing as a helpless smile appeared on her peerless face. Soon after, a slightly solemn expression flashed across her face as she reminded Du Shaoqing in a soft voice, the Eastern mythical Scarlet Phoenix was forced to suffer a loss last time. I'm afraid it won't let this matter rest so easily. We have to be careful. Du Shaoqing nodded slightly. She also knew that Dongli Qi Huang was not weak. She said softly, our goal is to seize the last opportunity first. If the Great Luan sect and the Divine Light Court still dare to provoke our world society, I will definitely not let them have an easy time. In front of some people in this world, the Great Luan sect and the Divine Light Court are nothing. Sima Muhan heard this and looked at Du Shaoqing. Hearing this, her delicate face also revealed a slight smile. Sima Muhan did not say anything. Then, her light purple eyes flickered and she said to the crowd in a serious tone, "Everyone, let's do some breathing exercises. The great opportunity is about to open. However, before that, we have to pass through the evil spirit dead beach. That is a place of great danger. We can't be careless." "Yes." Hearing this, many people nodded and began to sit cross-legged and meditate. Chapter 9:12. Within the gloomy weapon space, Du Xiaofu's nascent spirit spread out, playing with the weapon's soul. Another 3 days passed. During these 3 days, Du Xiaofu deliberately ignored the weapon's soul. Instead, the weapon's soul approached Du Xiaofu of its own accord. Sometimes, when Du Xiaofu deliberately walked away, the weapon's soul would follow him. What exactly is the young temple master planning? He should be able to place a soul imprint now, shouldn't he? Dongli Diao looked at Du Xiaofu, who was playing with the artifact spirit, with a puzzled look in his eyes. Everyone had been waiting in the artifact space for more than 10 days. That weapon's soul is too strong. I'm afraid the young temple master isn't confident he'll be able to forcibly place a soul imprint on it. I trust he has his own plans, Wu Ma Sheng said to Dongli Diao. Wu Ma Sheng said to Dongli Diao. As a talisman master, he was naturally more familiar with this than Dongli Diao. Jiangchen sat down cross-legged and closed his eyes, beginning to meditate. Can you understand what I'm saying? Perhaps you'll be able to understand, right? In the air, Du Xiaofu's nascent spirit power rippled gently as he stared at the weapon's soul. Within the weapon's soul, all sorts of blades, spears, swords, and halberds flickered with light. They floated quietly in front of Du Xiaofu, as if they really could understand Du Xiaofu's words. Can you really understand? Do you want to leave this place immediately? Du Xiaofu's eyes lit up with joy. He immediately continued asking the weapon's soul. Whoosh! The weapon's soul gazed at Du Xiaofu. Light filled the air, it cheerfully circled Du Xiaofu, as if it really could understand Du Xiaofu's words. Du Xiaofu's eyes lit up with joy. After a moment of thought, he gritted his teeth and murmured, "Let's give it a shot. This is the only way." As soon as he spoke, the box on Du Xiaofu's back opened. The heavenly palace of purple gold floated in front of him. Suddenly, the entire weapon space rumbled and shook. Boom! In this weapon space, the ground of the weapon was filled with cracks. Roar! The heavenly palace of purple gold appeared. It was entirely purple gold with the bones of a tiger and the posture of a dragon. The secret patterns of the green dragon and black tortoise flickered. The tiger beast on the sword hilt roared ferociously and was about to pounce. At this moment, the artifact soul trembled and stared at the purple gold heavenly tower. Feeling the aura of the purple gold heavenly tower, the weapon's soul seemed to trust Du Xiaofu and was not frightened. Du Xiaofu narrowed his eyes. It seemed to be better than he had imagined. He formed a hand seal and the new artifact spirit of the heavenly palace of purple gold immediately flew out. Hula! A dazzling talisman rune shot into the sky from the purple gold heavenly tower. Its power erupted like a volcano. The roars of dragons and tigers, the cries of birds and turtles sounded like thunder and wind. Within the light was the illusory image of a sword. It looked exactly the same as the heavenly palace of purple gold. Talisman runes flickered. It was the manifestation of the artifact spirit that Du Xiaofu had placed in the heavenly palace of purple gold. However, the artifact spirit was still relatively weak. Compared to the weapon's soul, it was still far too weak. Hiss! Off in the distance, atop a mountain of weapons, Jiangchen, seated cross-legged, opened his eyes and looked at Du Xiaofu. The artifact spirit's appearance caused the weapon's soul to flicker with light. It seemed to be sizing up the heavenly palace of purple gold's artifact spirit with curiosity. Merge with it and you'll be able to leave this place and come with me. The power of Du Xiaofu's nascent spirit spread out gently as he spoke to the artifact spirit. At the same time, the sword-shaped artifact spirit of the heavenly palace of purple gold slowly approached the weapon's soul. Roar! Suddenly, the weapon's soul moved. Saber, spear, sword, and halberd transformed into a bolt of lightning. It was so close that Du Xiaofu's heavenly palace of purple gold's artifact spirit was completely unstoppable. Then, it swallowed it whole. Not good. Tao Yu and Yu Mingyuan sensed something off in the distance. Their eyes widened in shock, but there was nothing they could do. Puchi. Du Xiaofu coughed up a mouthful of golden blood. The heavenly palace of purple gold's artifact spirit had been crushed and swallowed by the weapon's soul. Du Xiaofu looked as if he'd suffered a heavy blow. His face instantly turned deathly pale. Buzz buzz. As the artifact spirit was swallowed, the heavenly palace of purple gold trembled, accompanied by the incessant wails of ghosts and gods. We failed. Jiangchen's figure instantly appeared beside Du Xiaofu. The weapon's spirit had been swallowed by the weapon's soul. His chances of retrieving the corpse core were even lower now. Hiss hiss. As soon as Jiangchen appeared, the artifact spirit seemed to be startled. It instantly burrowed back into the weapon and disappeared. My estimation was wrong. Du Xiaofu smiled bitterly. He hadn't expected his estimation to be so wrong. Even the artifact spirit of the heavenly palace of purple gold had been swallowed up. What should we do now? The artifact spirit has been startled. I'm afraid it won't come out again. It's unlikely we'll have a chance to forcibly place a soul imprint on it. Jiangchen furrowed his brows slightly, his dark eyes rippling with emotion. Du Xiaofu glanced at the weapon's space. The weapon's soul had already disappeared. His chances of summoning it again were slim. After a moment, Jiangchen said to Du Xiaofu, "There's not much time left. Why don't we leave first? Perhaps once we leave, the experts of your sect will have a way to suppress the old artifact spirit." Beneath his mask, Du Xiaofu's gaze flickered. He looked back at Jiangchen, wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth with the back of his hand, and said softly, "You all should leave first. I want to try one last time. Perhaps if I stay here alone, the artifact spirit will have a chance to come out." Jiangchen looked into Du Xiaofu's eyes. After a long moment, he nodded. Afterwards, Jiangchen, Lin Weiqi, Dongli Diao, Stone, and the others left the weapon space. After Jiangchen, Lin Weiqi, Stone, and the others left, Du Xiaofu glanced around and said, "I know you're in here. Come out. I won't hurt you." His words echoed through the air, but they didn't cause any ripples. The artifact spirit didn't appear again. It was as if it had vanished into the vast weapons space. Atop a mountain peak, Zhu Shui gazed into the distance. Her delicate and beautiful face focused slightly. Then she turned to Guoming and the others and said, "Up ahead is the great opportunity. When the time comes, the space there will change, and divine lightning will descend. However, at that time, countless powerful evil spirits will appear on the evil spirit dead beach. They'll seem to be guarding it. If we want to obtain the divine lightning body tempering divine lightning, we'll have to charge through the evil spirit dead beach and purge the evil spirits. This is the duty and responsibility of all cultivators of the central continent." Guoming nodded. He could sense that the space in front of them was somewhat unusual. There were faint traces of spatial distortions. It seems that we'll need another 2 or 3 days. There should be some movement up ahead. "Let's get ready," said a young martial emperor from the Profound Talisman sect. Zhu Shui nodded. The disciples of the Profound Talisman sect all sat down cross-legged and meditated, waiting for the final change in space. The space around them was quiet. There was an invisible, oppressive atmosphere that shrouded the space. As they waited in silence, more and more people gathered in the area. After another 2 days, figures flickered, blotting out the sun. These people weren't as quiet as the disciples of the 9 great powers. Clamorous discussions could be heard, and it was noisy and noisy. However, no one dared to disturb the people of the 9 great powers. Whether it was the strength of the 9 great powers themselves or the strength of their disciples, they were existences that ordinary people couldn't afford to provoke. As time passed, the space in front of them became more and more distorted. Black fog began to gather from all directions. Clearly, there was something up ahead that was about to happen. In the gloomy valley, black fog surged. Countless evil spirits raised their heads. Their blood-red eyes looked even more frightening and strange in the dim space. 3 figures stood in front of the countless evil spirits. Black fog surged around them. They were 2 men and a woman. The aura on their bodies distorted the space around them. They were terrifyingly powerful. A thin middle-aged man in a black robe was faintly discernible in the space. He wore a black hood, revealing only a pair of blood-red eyes. He looked at the black fog in front of him and said in a sharp and cold voice, "Those humans and beasts are here. It's been another 30 years. We've waited for another 30 years. This time, it should be about time. As long as we can make a breakthrough, we won't be trapped in this land of death anymore." A burly man in a black robe was faintly discernible. He had short red hair that looked like a mane on his head. His eyes were filled with blood-red light. "Ha!" the woman giggled. She had a beautiful figure. Her bright red silk dress was trailing on the ground. Her beautiful black hair was only tied up with a few bright red hair ribbons. She was as elegant and pure as a budding lotus flower. However, there was a hidden seductiveness in her. She said to the 2 people beside her, "Get ready. It's better for us to leave first. Although those humans and beasts aren't here, they've set up a talisman formation here. We'll be in trouble once they notice our presence. TSK TSK." The 3 figures then turned into black fog and disappeared on the spot. Roar! It was just that this valley stretched far into the distance, and the terrifying evil spirits had gathered from some unknown place. It was as if the evil world had opened its door. More and more evil spirits gathered, and they were everywhere in the mountains and plains. In the Divine Thunder Mountain Range, only the major forces and some small and medium-sized forces had set up camp for the past few months. As time passed, countless people swarmed in from all directions of the Middle Continent. The densely packed crowd covered the entire Divine Thunder Mountain Range. It was bustling with noise and excitement. Looking at the time, I'm afraid it's about to open. The Space-Time Talisman Formation will open in the Heavenly Talents competition. We'll be the first to know. It's the biggest event in the entire Middle Continent that happens once every 30 years. Chapter 9:13. Around the Holy Thunder Mountain, people from all over Zhongzhou wanted to watch the last battle of the Heavenly Legends as soon as possible. In the last battle of the Heavenly Legends, if they wanted to know who made it to the top 10, there would be a space-time talisman array in the Holy Thunder Mountain. It was set up by the 9 forces of the Zhongzhou One Valley, 2 churches, 3 sects, and 3 groups. The space-time talisman array consumed a lot of energy, so it could only be activated in the last and most important battle of the Heavenly Legends. At that time, everyone in the Holy Thunder Mountain would be able to know immediately, as if they were there. Countless people from all over Zhongzhou rushed into the Holy Thunder Mountain. They all wanted to watch the battle of the Heavenly Legends with their own eyes. It was the battle of the top young generation in Zhongzhou. Bang, 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 deep sonic booms came from afar, reverberating in the air. Taoist priest of Changdao, I'm not done with your great Luan sect. Don't hide if you dare. Gu Qingyang, don't go too far. If you continue to fight, both sides will suffer. Do you want to start a war with my great Luan sect? Let's start a war then. Do you think the ancient heaven sect is afraid of your great Luan sect? Since you dared to touch my disciple, I'll teach you a lesson first. Outside the Holy Thunder Mountain, deep sonic booms came from time to time, accompanied by loud shouts. The people around seemed to be used to it. They stopped to watch from time to time, but there wasn't much commotion. This battle had been going on for months. In these months, Elder Gu Qingyang of the ancient Heaven sect and the Taoist priest of Changdao of the Great Luan sect had fought several times. But they were afraid of destroying the Holy Thunder Mountain, so the two supermasters also fought from afar, blocking the battlefield. From the words coming from afar, people judged that Elder Gu Qingyang seemed to have the upper hand every time, but he couldn't completely defeat the Taoist priest of Changdao. It seems like the Great Will sect and the Ancient Heaven sect are going to war. It is said that for Elder Gu Qingyang's disciple, Du Xiaofu, the Great Luan sect interfered in the matter between the Stone Dragon Empire and the Desolate Country. The Desolate Country was created by Elder Gu Qingyang's disciple, Du Xiaofu. Rumor has it that Du Xiaofu has died, but this angered Elder Gu Qingyang, so he is not letting the Great Luan sect off. I came from the Dark Forest. The Great Luan sect's experts killed many people in the Desolate Country's Stone City. In the end, a super expert appeared in the Desolate Country and scared off the Great Luan sect's experts. The Desolate Country is now at war with the Stone Dragon Empire. It also caused a confrontation between the Ancient Heaven sect and the Great Luan sect. There was a lot of discussion in the Holy Thunder Mountain. Everyone was waiting for the space-time charm array to open so that they could watch the Heavenly Sons of Heaven contest. Are you really not coming out? I mean no harm. A few more days passed. Inside the weapon space, Du Xiaofu looked at the vast weapon space with a wry smile on his face. Du Xiaofu felt helpless. It seemed he had suffered a double loss this time. Not only had he failed to obtain the weapon's soul, but he had also lost his new weapon spirit. If it weren't for the fact that Jiangchen had used up a lot of energy from the weapon's soul, the Heavenly Palace of Violet Gold would have already begun to rebel. Sigh. After a few days, the weapon's soul still hadn't come out. Du Xiaofu could only sigh helplessly. He looked at the space and said softly, "It seems we are not fated to be together. You are the remnant energy of an ancient divine weapon. You were once a peerless divine weapon. Now that you have been reborn, your intelligence has yet to be awakened. However, I believe that since you came from an ancient divine weapon's soul, you are no ordinary object. You will definitely understand what I mean." Du Xiaofu looked ahead quietly. His clear eyes rippled with determination. He said, "My martial veins were crippled when I was young. My family was separated. My mother was separated, and my brother and sister were separated. This is a family feud. I was blessed by the heavens and had the opportunity to cultivate. I entered Tianwu Academy, but the academy was destroyed and my teachers died. This is a debt of blood. I once swore that I would become an expert. Every step I took, I had to tread carefully, as if I was walking on thin ice. I broke my bones and dug out my heart. I hope that my sister, Xiao Jing, will be well. She is a natural-born sovereign. She will definitely have a brighter future than me. She will be able to reunite our family better than me. I have no regrets. I only regret that I was unable to accomplish what I wanted to do. With the help of the heavens, I was reincarnated. This time, I won't let myself down. I want to become an expert and stand proudly in this world. I want to reunite my family. I want to repay the debt of blood of the academy." Du Xiaofu's voice paused for a moment. Golden light flickered in his clear eyes, and lightning crackled. His voice reverberated in the air. "In your previous life, you were a peerless divine weapon. Are you really willing to stay here forever? Or do you want to be like all of your previous lives, to become a peerless existence one day? Come with me, follow me. I will treat you like my own brother. The great rock rises with the wind, soaring 90,000 li. One day, when the tiger returns to the mountain, I will dye half the sky red with blood. I will kill all those who bullied and oppressed me." His voice rumbled. Du Xiaofu's eyes glowed with a golden light. It was as though a great rock had spread its wings. Lightning crackled as it soared into the sky. After a long time, the space calmed down and everything returned to silence. Are we really not fated? Forget it. Nothing can be forced. Du Xiaofu's eyes dimmed a little. He sighed softly and turned to leave. Then, just as Du Xiaofu turned around and took a few steps away in disappointment, a dragon's roar suddenly came from the space behind him. Roar, his voice spread out, causing the space to vibrate and make rustling noises. Du Xiaofu suddenly turned around and saw a dazzling light appear not far behind him. Sabers, spears, swords, and halberds changed and rushed toward Du Xiaofu in an instant, revolving around Du Xiaofu. Are you going to leave with me? Leave this place with me. Du Xiaofu was overjoyed. His eyes under the mask revealed a look of surprise. Buzz! The artifact spirit let out a sound of wind and thunder. Then, it transformed into the appearance of the new artifact spirit of the purple gold heavenly palace. The image of a sword appeared. Its vast and mighty pressure surged and swept out, and it carried a strand of ancient aura as it swept out. Du Xiaofu was stunned. He looked at the artifact spirit and said, "You mean, you want to become the artifact spirit of the purple gold heavenly palace?" Buzz buzz. The sword-shaped shadow of the artifact spirit bent, as if nodding. The sound of wind and thunder surged and clanged. Ha 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 ha, Du Xiaofu was stunned for a moment. Then, joy appeared in his eyes. He laughed and looked at the artifact spirit. I will place a soul imprint on you and integrate it into the purple gold heavenly palace. Then, you can go out with me. As his voice fell, Du Xiaofu's hand seals were formed and he began to prepare to place a soul imprint on the artifact spirit of the purple gold heavenly palace. In the dark mountains, more and more black fog gathered around. The roars of evil spirits echoed faintly. The space in front became more and more distorted. As time passed, more and more young men and women gathered around. Some were seriously injured, and most of them were in a sorry state. Their auras were weak. However, to be able to pass through most of the sealed ancient lands and still be able to reach this place, their strength and luck were definitely not bad. The noise multiplied. However, if one looked carefully, one could see that at least a quarter of the young men and women who came here from the Divine Thunder Mountain range had disappeared. That was definitely a huge number. Most of the people who had not reached this place had probably died in this sealed ancient lands. Under the gazes of tens of thousands of people and the nervous anticipation of countless people, time passed slowly. Finally, there was a movement in the space in front. Purple gold electric arcs appeared in the distorted space in front of them. Under the gazes of countless people, the electric arcs spread in all directions. Then, they seemed to spread in the endless sky, dispersing the thick black fog in the sky that was difficult to disperse. Sizzle, the space fluctuated violently. Electric arcs overflowed, and purple gold color spread across the sky. As the distorted space in front of them became more and more intense, the young men and women who were sitting cross-legged on the mountain peak suddenly stood up. The eyes of the countless young men and women in the surroundings quietly turned scarlet red. Even their breathing had become rough and heavy. For the young men and women who were not from the 9 forces, those who could reach this place were all extraordinary people. They knew that as long as they had the opportunity to obtain the last great opportunity to refine their bodies with the divine thunder and strengthen their martial veins and spiritual roots, they would be comparable to their peers in the 9 forces. It's going to open up in front. In the mountains, some people began to clench their fists nervously. Is the divine thunder about to appear? Du Yunlong squinted his eyes and his robe fluttered in the wind. He looked at the distorted space in front of him, which was overflowing with purple electric arcs. He could feel an extremely terrifying energy fluctuation. The electric arcs seemed to be able to interact with the thunder martial vein in his body. It's still early for the divine thunder to descend. However, the space in front of us will be torn apart. We have to cross the evil spirit dead beach first. At that time, everyone must be careful. We must work together. Don't act alone. Sima Muhan said to Du Yunlong. She frowned slightly. In the distorted space in front of them, the energy that was suppressed under the Earth's crust was like a volcano that was about to erupt crazily. It made her heart tremble. Chapter 9:14. What a strange place. Du Xiaoyao frowned. Ripples appeared in its golden eyes. The distorted space in front of it made it tremble. Ka. Finally, under everyone's gaze, a crisp sound came from the distorted space in front of them. Then, like a mirror, it shattered inch by inch. Then, purplish-gold electric arcs filled the surrounding space, as if a purplish-gold electric curtain hung high in the sky. It's open. Let's go to the evil spirit dead beach. The moment the space shattered, countless people's eyes turned red and they flew out. Walala, numerous figures instantly appeared like locusts passing through, blotting out the sky and covering the earth, whistling through the sky. Let's go. On the mountain peak, the 9th layer spiritual emperor in the boundless sex formation raised his eyes slightly. He waved his hand, and his figure turned into a long rainbow as he rushed forward. Whoosh whoosh, behind the 9th layer spiritual emperor, many young powerhouses of the boundless sect also took action. They turned into streaks of rainbows and flew into the sky. Move out. A charming smile appeared on Sima Muhan's beautiful face. Let's move out as well. Everyone, be careful. We must stay together. Du Xiaoqing said to the members of the Du family, World Society, and Tianwu Academy. Everyone nodded. Over the past few days, they had been listening in on the conversations of the ancient Heaven sect disciples, and they were all very aware of what was going on. Every time they crossed the evil spirit dead beach at the end of the sealed ancient land, only half of the people would be able to successfully cross it. They could only attack with all their strength and take the opportunity to charge into the depths of the evil spirit dead beach. Then, they would rely on their own strength to break through. Among them, at least half of them would be destroyed by the evil spirit and become nutrients to strengthen the evil spirit. Whoosh whoosh, in the surrounding mountains, all the major forces began to move out. Many figures floated in the air and flew forward. The black mass of people, along with the rumbling sound, also seemed to shake the heaven and earth. Figures that blotted out the sky and covered the earth swept across the sky. A moment later, they swept past a mountain range. A vast expanse of flat terrain that stretched as far as the eye could see appeared before everyone's eyes. At this moment, everyone's gazes were focused on the ground below. All of them fiercely sucked in a breath of cold air. Their profound energies stagnated, and some people nearly fell from midair due to their unstable minds. At this moment, in the endless flat terrain, black fog was surging and electric arcs were wreaking havoc. Huge beast-shaped and human-shaped evil spirits filled everyone's eyes. The densely packed evil spirits were like a black ocean. Not only the ground, but even the air was filled with evil spirits. It was as if countless black crows were hovering in the sky, covering the sky and the sun, extending as far as the eye could see. Woo-woo, ear-piercing sound waves came from the mouths of countless evil spirits. It was like the cries of ghosts and the howls of gods, and thunder resounded in the sky. Is this the evil spirit dead beach? Du Xiaoman frowned when she saw the scene in front of her. There were so many evil spirits, seemingly endless. Although there were many young people in the central region, it was still a black mass. However, compared to the endless evil spirits in the sky and on the ground, it was simply a small group of people in the presence of a great one. The reason why this place is called the evil spirit dead beach is because there are too many people who die here every time. It is called the Dead Land. Shui Ruhan's eyes were clear. Her eyes rippled like the sea as she looked at the endless evil spirit dead beach. There was a purple gold lightning that seemed to have come from the 9 heavens. She said, that is the place where the divine lightning will descend. Only after passing through the evil spirit dead beach can we reach it. Everyone, the evil spirit dead beach is right in front of us. You need to go all out to break through the evil spirit dead beach. If you want to obtain the divine lightning to refine your body, you must first pass through the evil spirit dead beach. At this moment, Dongli Chihuang's voice resounded in the air. Dongli Chihuang is really shameless. He is encouraging others to be cannon fodder. In the intelligent sword sect, Nameless, who carried 3 swords behind his shoulders, looked forward with a cold smile. Kill! However, as soon as Dongli Chihuang's voice fell, the crowd surged forward. Battle cries filled the sky as their auras swept across the sky. There was really an endless stream of figures that immediately pounced on the evil spirits that blotted out the sky and covered the earth. Attack! Break through the evil spirit dead beach. At this moment, the people from the various major forces moved together. Their profound chi surged in the sky. Each of the major forces formed a few formations and joined forces to attack the evil spirits that blotted out the sky and covered the earth. At the front of each formation, there was a martial emperor realm cultivator. Kill! The crowd moved. The sound of the figures breaking through the wind resounded. Their auras surged, and the space rumbled as fierce killing intent erupted. It caused the wind and clouds to surge. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled in the sky. Woo woo! On the evil spirit dead beach, countless evil spirits roared. Countless scarlet eyes surged as they let out ear-piercing screeches. In an instant, they continuously charged towards the crowd and attacked. Kill! The distance was covered in a flash. The crowd and the evil spirits instantly collided. In the crowd, Dongli Chihuang, Qingxing Nan, 9th level spiritual emperor, Sima Muhan, Shui Ruhan, Xiang Ling, and Ling Jun, and the other top talents' bodies surged with powerful profound qi. Attacks immediately swept out like lightning. These top extraordinary people all had their own methods to restrain the evil spirits. They directly destroyed a large number of evil spirits into black fog. Woo woo! In the blink of an eye, the crowd was immediately surrounded by the evil spirits. In an instant, a huge impact erupted. Profound chi filled the sky as killing intent surged. The surrounding evil spirits were shattered. Ear-piercing screeches and earth-shattering battle cries resounded throughout the sealed ancient land. Rumble! The earth shook and the mountains shook. The sky collapsed and the earth cracked. A great battle was about to break out on the evil spirit dead beach. Kill! Du Shaoqing attacked. Green and red flames surged, forming a small sea of fire. A large number of evil spirits were burned and destroyed. Boom! Xiang Ling attacked. With a punch, the energy of the Supreme Yang was like the eruption of the sun. It could directly shatter a large number of evil spirits in front of him. Destroy! The 9th level spiritual emperor's scarlet robe fluttered in the wind as he floated in midair. There was a faint luster flowing on his sparkling skin. He was like a god descending to earth. With a wave of his hand, a golden light swept out. It was like golden lightning streaking across the sky, instantly destroying a large number of evil spirits. Qingxingnan's graceful and beautiful figure floated in midair while her entire body was enveloped in divine radiance that seemed like divine light, and it transformed into countless ribbons. Once an evil spirit came into contact with it, it would be annihilated into ashes and shattered into pieces. With the top experts of the various factions taking action, one lineup after another rushed into the depths of the evil spirit army. However, the evil spirits in the periphery were not too strong. In the depths of the evil spirit army, many powerful evil spirits rushed out. In the depths of the evil spirit army, evil spirits comparable to martial kings and beast kings were everywhere. There were even many powerful evil spirits comparable to martial emperors and beast emperors. With the appearance of these powerful evil spirits, they immediately blocked the advance of the crowd and increased the pressure of the crowd. Woo, woo, some powerful evil spirits were already able to rush into the crowd. With ear-piercing sounds that affected the soul, they began to kill. Everyone, be careful. Don't panic. Du Yunlong shouted at the disciples of the Du family and the world society. His hair fluttered in the wind as he waved his hand to kill the evil spirits. His eyes were cold and sharp. At this moment, the lineup of the various factions was not too affected. There were top experts of the same generation guarding and killing those powerful evil spirits. Large numbers of evil spirits were turned into ashes and smoke in front of them. The lineup continued to advance. However, the lineup of the others was not the same. The evil spirits were besieging them, and people were constantly dying. Some people were controlled by the evil spirits and started to kill their companions. Miserable wails resounded endlessly. The battle did not last long, and everyone fell into a frenzy. Ah! Screams, sonic booms, ear-piercing roars of the evil spirits, the roars of the meridian spirits, and the roars of the beast race experts mixed together like a symphony from hell. The entire space was trembling. Blood flowed like a river, and killing intent filled the sky. Blood and corpses fell to the ground. The eyes of the crowd were red. At this moment, no one was afraid. They could only fight and destroy the evil spirits without fear of death. However, there was an endless stream of evil spirits around them. They had no fear and were not afraid of death. They were only bloodthirsty. Like a swarm of ants, they surrounded some of the people in the crowd. The battle gradually reached a tragic point. Wails continued, blood flowed like a river, and the cries of ghosts echoed endlessly. At this moment, the evil spirit dead beach had become hell. It made people shudder. Bang! 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 Low muffled sounds rang out as the battle raged on. Kill all these evil spirits. After crossing this evil spirit dead beach, we will be able to obtain a huge opportunity. Someone in the crowd shouted, encouraging the people who had fallen into a desperate situation. However, in this kind of battle, some people were even exhausted. In the end, the evil spirits took the opportunity to kill them. There were also small groups that fell into the endless evil spirits and were torn to pieces by the evil spirits. Mournful wails resounded throughout the sealed ancient land. Woo woo, the evil spirits were not afraid of death. Their ear-piercing cries echoed in the sky. Only the lineups of the various major factions could still hold on. They formed various offensive lineups and continuously attacked their surroundings. However, under this kind of support, everyone's consumption was astonishing. Chapter 9:15. Kill. Terrifying energy swept across the area. The evil spirits that weren't at the Martial Emperor realm or Beast Emperor realm were burned into nothingness by Du Xiaoqing's green and red flames. Bang! 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 Dongli Qi Huang, 9th level spiritual emperor, Wu Ming, Zhu Shui, Qing Xingnan, Sima Muhan, Shui Ruhan, and Ling Jun, Ming Rongyin, and the other top experts also killed many of the top evil spirits. With the size of the evil spirit death beach, with everyone's speed, they could cross it in a few breaths' time. However, 2 hours had already passed, and everyone was still in the midst of a bloody battle. Kill. The silver-winged demonic condor had already activated its main body. Its aura was domineering as it flapped its wings and swept across the sky, destroying a large number of evil spirits. Roar. The little tiger activated its main body. Black runes soared into the sky, exuding a domineering aura that shook the sky. Kill. Yi Piaoling, Qiangu Yu, Silver Fox, An Yang, Duo Sha, Ying Yan, Yin Tianjue, and Gu Wuying shouted. The 8 of them gathered together and swept across the area. The overall strength of these 8 people was definitely powerful. The terrifying aura that erupted from them caused even the people from the 9 factions to tremble. Those 8 people are not ordinary. After destroying a large number of evil spirits, they couldn't help but exclaim when they saw the terrifying aura formed by Yi Piaoling and the others. On the other hand, Du Xiaoyao's golden ape body was like the beginning of the world. The evil spirits didn't dare to get close to her. Du Xiaoyao still had to protect the Du family and the world society. Some of the weaker people in Tianwu Academy muttered softly, "Why isn't that fellow here yet? There are so many people for me to protect," but he went to slack off. Could it be that he doesn't want that great opportunity anymore? Within the vast weapon space, Du Xiaofu's hand seals were formed. His body emitted a dazzling white light. An ancient aura rippled as hand seals formed in Du Xiaofu's hand and landed on the purple-gold heavenly tower floating in front of him. Qi. When the last seal landed, a terrifying energy came from Du Xiaofu's palm and entered the violet-gold heavenly palace. Boom! At this moment, the purple-gold heavenly tower rumbled like the roars of dragons and tigers. Around the purple-gold heavenly fault sword, talisman runes erupted. Dazzling and eye-piercing talisman runes shot up into the sky from the sword. A terrifying power erupted like a volcano. Roar! The roars of dragons and tigers, the cries of birds and turtles, and the sounds of wind and thunder. The entire weapon trembled in the air. Countless weapons that had their energy devoured cracked and turned into fine powder. At this moment, the purple-gold heavenly tower was floating in the air. The terrifying aura it gave off was like a peerless divine weapon that had awakened. It looked down on the world and could destroy everything. Withdraw. Du Xiaofu's face was slightly pale. He leaped up and held the purple-gold heavenly tower in his hand. He looked at the purple-gold heavenly tower in his hand and a smile appeared in his eyes under the mask. He gently caressed the sword and said softly, "From now on, we are brothers. Are you willing to accompany me for the rest of my life?" Roar! Within the purple-gold heavenly tower, a dragon's roar resounded, bringing with it the sound of wind and thunder. The sword's body clanged as if it was responding to Du Xiaofu. Ha 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 ha! Du Xiaofu floated in the air and laughed. He felt the aura of the purple-gold heavenly tower. A domineering golden aura shot out from his clear eyes and swept across the sky. He waved the sword and shouted, "I hold my sword and laugh at the heavens. The green blade will sweep across the two heavens and earth. Those who obey the heavens may not exist, but those who defy the heavens should laugh. The blood debt of the family shall be swept away by the wind. Eternal hegemony. As for heroes, they shall be proud of the sky, step on the 9 heavens, look to the northwest, and slay the heavenly wolf. From now on, I will never bend my back." Qi. As he shouted, Du Xiaofu waved his sword. The purple-gold light shone brightly and the talisman runes flowed. Rumble, as the sword fell, a domineering aura suddenly swept across. Light filled the air and the entire weapon space rumbled and shook. As the sword light spread, the sky fell and the earth cracked. A long gully spread across the entire weapon space. Countless swords, spears, swords, and halberds turned into powder. It was a simple sword, but it contained the power to move mountains and overturn seas. It was enough to kill any emperor as if they were nothing. The evil spirit dead beach was like purgatory. Blood flowed like a river, and whales were everywhere. Rumble, slaughter, a frenzied slaughter. Whether it was humans, beasts, or evil spirits, their eyes were red, and their killing intent was monstrous. Qi La. The 9th-level spirit emperor destroyed a group of evil spirits with a golden thunderbolt in his hand. His figure crossed a purple-gold arc light curtain and suddenly found that there were no evil spirits in front of him. Qi La almost at the same time, Dongli Qi Huang, Qing Xingnan, and Ling Jun, Wu Ming, Jiang Wolin, Ming Rongyin, Sima Muhan, Ruo Shui Han, Shen Ling, and the others entered one after another. Roar! Little Tiger, Silver-Winged Demonic Condor, Du Xiaoqing, Du Xiaoyao, Yi Piaoling, Du Yunlong, Silver Fox, and the others entered this vast space one after another. This space was vast and empty, but countless evil spirits roared and screamed outside the purple-gold arc light curtain. However, for some reason, they did not dare to approach the purple-gold arc light curtain. We rushed out of the evil spirit dead beach. Looking back at the countless evil spirits outside the purple gold arc light curtain, Sima Muhan's dignified face was slightly relieved. Whoosh whoosh outside the purple gold arc light curtain, as the major forces arrived first, many small and medium-sized forces entered. Some rogue cultivators formed an alliance, and many people entered after the danger. Their breathing was chaotic, and some were covered in scars. However, these people had entered this place. Looking back at the dense and crazy evil spirits behind them, they still had lingering fear. What is that? Just as everyone heaved a sigh of relief, Du Xiaoyao withdrew her redbone horse monkey form and looked ahead. The vast space was surrounded by faint purple gold lightning arcs. These purplish golden arcs of lightning were almost invisible to the naked eye, and they posed no threat to humans, beasts, and demon spirits. However, the evil spirits didn't dare to approach them in the slightest. In the distant sky, there was a huge three-legged cauldron hanging upside down in the sky. The huge inverted three-legged cauldron had purple lightning runes spreading across it, causing the space between heaven and earth to tremble. Under the cauldron, majestic energy strangely gathered in the sky, and the surrounding space directly turned into a spatial vortex. A series of purple gold lightning arcs surged and spread out from the distorted spatial vortex. A vast and ancient aura shrouded down from the sky and spread in all directions. It was the purple gold lightning arcs that were almost invisible to the naked eye that caused the countless evil spirits in the surroundings to not dare to approach. What a strange thing. Du Xiaoyao's eyes trembled. She could devour everything, but at this moment, facing the huge three-legged cauldron in the distance, she also felt that she couldn't devour it. That's the divine lightning cauldron. Just as Du Xiaoyao was surprised, there were many exclamations of shock in the surroundings. Dongli Qihuang, Qing Xingnan, Wu Ming, Jiang Wolin, and the others' gazes all fell on the space in front of them. There was an inverted three-legged cauldron that seemed to cover the sky and the sun, and there was a thick purple-gold thundercloud surging around it. Crackle, within the purple-gold thundercloud, purple-gold lightning arcs were flowing, and a huge aura that made one's heart palpitate suddenly came, causing everyone to feel a pressure that made their souls tremble. Although the disciples of the various factions had never seen the three-legged cauldron before, they had heard of it from the legends in their sections. It was said that the divine thunder cauldron was left behind by a supreme expert in the ancient times. It was said that it was in the ancient times, a long time ago. At that time, the heavens and earth were in turmoil, and various clans were killing each other. The people were in a terrible situation, and it was as if doomsday had arrived. One day, a mysterious supreme expert came and stopped the killing by himself. He sealed one side of the battlefield and left behind a divine thunder cauldron to suppress the evil spirits on the battlefield. That battlefield was the sealed ancient land under everyone's feet, and it was filled with many mysteries. As time passed, countless creatures were born, but they were all evil spirits. It was said that once the evil spirits in the sealed land reached a peak, the seal would break, and the entire central region would be plunged into misery and suffering, becoming a demonic domain. In order to prevent the evil spirits from gathering, it seemed that the supreme expert had set a limit. The ancient land seal could only be opened once every 30 years, allowing the younger generation to enter and cleanse the evil spirits. At the same time, it allowed the younger generation to obtain endless opportunities, using the divine thunder in the divine thunder cauldron to refine their bodies and improve their martial veins and spiritual roots. Swoosh swoosh, there were still people who were able to break through the evil spirit dead beach and enter this vast space. However, when the people who had broken through the evil spirit dead beach gathered together, only half of the people who had broken through the evil spirit dead beach were left behind, including those who were severely injured. Everyone entered the vast space and looked at the inverted three-legged cauldron. The aura that spread out made everyone tremble. At the front of the crowd, Little Demon Du stood on Little Tiger's shoulder. She turned her head and looked in the direction of the evil spirit dead beach beyond the purple gold lightning arc. Her golden eyes were filled with doubt as she softly muttered, "Did something happen to that fellow? Why isn't he here yet?" Early in the morning at the Divine Thunder Mountain Range, the sun rose into the sky, and rays of light shrouded the mountains. Boom! Just as the first ray of sunlight rose from the horizon in the east, the aura in the mountains suddenly fluctuated. The densely packed crowd crowded the mountains. Countless figures flickered and moved, and their eyes were nervously looking in front of the 10 peaks. Chapter 9:16. It's about time. It's almost time in the past. The space-time charm array will be activated soon. Prodigy Tournament. I wonder which 10 people will be able to make it to the top 10 this time. They will become famous in one battle and obtain the Divine Thunder Body Tempering opportunity. The people in the mountains were discussing and waiting for the space-time charm array to be activated. The space-time talisman array was something that some of the ancestors of the 9 great forces had worked together to set up in the sealed ancient land when they were young. It was said that the 9 forces took a total of 90 years to set up the space-time charm array. It was divided into 3 attempts before they successfully set up the space-time charm array. The biggest use of the space-time charm array was to transmit the grand scene of the last Prodigy tournament in the sealed ancient land to the Divine Thunder Mountain Range clearly. In front of the space-time charm array, it could allow people to be there and watch carefully. Even the sound could be heard clearly. In the mountain range, there were people who were clenching their fists nervously. They hoped that their disciples could obtain the great opportunity in the sealed ancient land and revitalize their clan. Rumble. Just as everyone was looking forward to it, the space in front of the 10 peaks of the Divine Thunder Mountain Range started to distort. Starting from high up in the sky, the space within 1,000 feet started to fluctuate. In a short time, the distorted space froze. A gentle light from the runes spread out from the sky. Boom! The entire Divine Thunder Mountain Range shook. Above the distorted space in the sky, there were endless dazzling runes spreading out. A shocking aura spread out. The space-time charm array has been activated. They have already passed the evil spirit dead beach. The Prodigy tournament is about to begin. In the Divine Thunder Mountain Range, countless people raised their heads and looked at the dazzling runes in the sky. Under the attentive gazes of the crowd, a vast and boundless space slowly began to appear above the dazzling mysterious rune light that could freeze space. Faintly, there were purple electric arcs fluctuating in the space. Above the vast space, a 3-legged cauldron that covered the sky floated. Its aura was strange. Even through the space-time talisman array, everyone could feel a shuddering aura coming from the 3-legged cauldron through space-time. In the vast space, countless figures appeared in the space-time rune array. There was no lack of familiar faces. Dongli Chihuang. That's Dongli Chihuang from the Great Will sect. Jiu Ling from the Boundless sect, Wu Ming from the Intelligent Sword sect, and Jiang Ruolin from the Xiandu Gate. That's Zhu Shui from the Profound Talisman sect. Inside the Holy Thunder Mountain Range, the whole mountain range was in an uproar as they looked at the figures in the space-time charm formation. Space-time transmission, space-time teleportation charm array space. On each of the 9 peaks of the Divine Thunder Mountain Range, streams of light shot up into the sky. The runes swept across the sky. The energy of the 9 runes flowed into the sky and then disappeared. Boom! In the sky above the Tianwu Square, a rune light spread out. Then, figures emerged from the dazzling light. When those familiar figures entered the Tianwu Square, the entire square burst into cheers and shouts of joy filled the Tianwu Square. That's Miss Muhan. I saw Miss Muhan. Senior sister Shui Ruhan, senior brother Lin Ling, senior brother Yin Machin, they're all here. Our ancient heaven sect will definitely win a place in the tournament of prodigies. On the Tianwu Square, the cheers and shouts were like deafening thunderclaps. At this time, many powerhouses of the ancient heaven sect had also appeared on the square. They stared nervously at the images in the sky. Early in the morning, in the sky above the Profound Talisman sect's huge square, countless mysterious talisman runes spread out. Then, with a flash of light, the figures of young men and women appeared in the sky. Senior Sister Zhu Shui, I see Senior Sister Zhu Shui. Go, Senior Sister Zhu Shui. Shocking shouts resounded throughout the square. Many experts of the profound charm sect flew out and gathered in front of the square. In the dark space, the abyss was filled with black fog. In the crack of the seal, broken runes were shining brightly. Why hasn't the third young master come out after so long? Will the young master be okay? It's been so long. Why don't we go in and take a look? Outside the crack of the seal, Stone and Dong Li Diao were worried. The two of them looked into the crack from time to time. They wanted to see something, but they couldn't see anything. They didn't dare to enter without permission. Chi, at this time, there was a fluctuation outside the crack of the seal. A purple figure flew out. The purple figure was tall and straight. His eyes were clear under the mask. Behind the purple soft armor was a square box. His long black hair was draped over his shoulders. It was Du Xiaofu, who everyone was worried about. Young master, are you okay? Third young master, you finally came out. If you didn't come out, I would have gone in. Seeing the young man in front of them come out, Dong Li Diao, Stone, Lin Weiqi and the others were relieved. They were all happy. Du Xiaofu looked at them and smiled. I'm sorry to have made everyone worry. I'm fine. I was recovering inside, so I was delayed for a while. You're still in the mood to recover? Jiangchen's jet-black eyes stared at Du Xiaofu. His thick, rebellious eyebrows twitched. Then, his gaze swept over the square box on Du Xiaofu's shoulder. How's the spirit artifact? He asked softly. My luck wasn't bad. I succeeded. Du Xiaofu nodded. He didn't say anything else. Just now, he'd taken the opportunity to enter the ancient desolate space and buy himself some time to recover. Boom. As Du Xiaofu's voice fell, the entire abyss shook. Then, in the sky, purple gold lightning suddenly shot into the sky. A mighty thunder might surged and rippled through the area. Jiangchen raised his head. Jiangchen lifted his head, his long hair flowing down his back like flowing water. The outline of his side profile was perfect and impeccable. Ripples flashed across his deep jet-black eyes, before he looked at Du Xiaofu and said, You've wasted too much time. In the end, it's already too late. Your so-called heavenly pride battle has already begun. By the time we get there, the dust will have already settled, and you will no longer be fated with that opportunity. In the end, it's too late. When Du Xiaofu heard this, his gaze trembled slightly. Inwardly, he was somewhat disappointed. But this time, his primary goal in the sealed ancient land was the Yin Spirit Crystal. Then, he wanted to obtain the divine lightning body tempering pill. Therefore, Du Xiaofu wasn't too disappointed. He just felt a little regretful. After all, to Du Xiaofu, he'd already obtained the most important Yin Spirit Crystal. In addition, he'd obtained the weapon soul in the weapon space and made it the new weapon spirit of the heavenly palace of purple gold. This was an unexpected gain. Du Xiaofu felt that the new weapon spirit's strength wouldn't be much weaker than that of the murderous weapon soul. It wasn't difficult for Du Xiaofu to know that if he'd let the original weapon spirit grow to the level of the weapon soul's new weapon spirit, it would have taken more than 1,000 years to reach that level. Now that the weapon soul had become the new weapon spirit of the heavenly palace of purple gold, it would be much easier to help suppress the murderous weapon soul. Even if it's too late, let's go watch the show. The Heaven's Pride battle is a rare occasion. It's good to watch. Du Xiaofu's clear eyes smiled faintly. He didn't care too much. Even if it was too late, at least Du Xiaoyao, Du Xiaoqing, Sima Muhan, Zhu Shui, Little Tiger, and the others were still there. Whoosh, whoosh, after a while, the disciples of the Seven-Star Hall leaped up. Their chi surged as they leaped into the abyss. Then, figures sped past. Rumble. In the space, the earth and mountains shook, and the void trembled. purple thunderclouds rippled around the inverted divine thunder cauldron. Suddenly, a huge purple gold boulder began to descend from the mouth of the divine thunder cauldron. The purple gold boulder was like a huge square suspended in the sky. Its diameter was so large that it covered the sky and the sun. Even a beast emperor realm expert of the beast clan would appear extremely small on this boulder. Around the purple gold boulder, there were purple gold lightning arcs that spread out from the divine thunder cauldron. They hung around like a purple light curtain, covering the purple gold boulder. Boom! As the purple gold boulder descended from the divine thunder cauldron, a vast and unparalleled pressure filled the space, almost freezing the space. Under such a vast pressure, many young men and women with low cultivation had their chi stagnated and their faces turned pale. Under that invisible pressure, there were even people who were suppressed to the point that their legs trembled. It's begun. That's the Heaven's Pride lightning platform. Only those who step foot on the lightning platform will have the qualifications to compete for hegemony. Ling Ling looked at the huge purple gold boulder floating in the sky. On his angular face, his dark and deep eyes flickered with a bright light. However, at this moment, under the wild and unrestrained temperament of the evil spirit, he was secretly nervous. The unrestrained smile on his face also slowly disappeared. Muha, Ling Ling, I'll have to rely on you guys next. I came here to help you guys successfully ascend the Heaven's Pride lightning platform. Chapter 9:17. Ruo Shui Han looked at Sima Muhan and Xiang Ling. Her voice was as gentle as water, like the sound of nature. She stood there quietly, like a lotus bud that had just emerged from the water, untainted by even a speck of dust. She faintly smiled, her red lips slightly parted, and her pearly white teeth gently parted as she softly said, I presume that the sect's disciples are all watching us from outside the spacetime symbol array. Don't worry, leave it to us. Shen Ling smiled at Shui Ruhan, and the unrestrained smile on his face became even more profound. Senior sister, I will do my best. Sima Muhan nodded. Her silky black hair casually fluttered around her slender waist, which was not even enough to be held in one hand. Sima Muhan then turned around and looked at Du Xiaoqing, Du Yunlong, and the others with her purple eyes. She glanced at Du Xiaoyao curiously and said, Little Qing, Sister Xiaoman, both humans and beasts can participate in the Heaven's Pride lightning platform later. However, demon spirits are not included. They will be excluded. Why? Before Sima Muhan could finish her sentence, Du Xiaoyao, who was on Du Xiaoqing's shoulder, suddenly shouted, Why can't I participate? This is discrimination against demon spirits. Ruo Shuihan glanced sideways at Du Xiaoyao and smiled. Her blue eyes were filled with a faint smile as she said, Divine Thunder body refinement doesn't seem to have much effect on us demon spirits. This is also because of the restrictions here. No one can force their way in. She's actually a demon spirit. Hearing those words, many people from the Du clan, World Society, and Tianwu Academy were astonished. Only now did they know that the beautiful girl in the ancient heaven sect was actually a demon spirit. Demon spirits were the strongest living beings in the world. No matter if it was talent or strength, they were above the beasts and humans on average. This is too much. Du Xiaoyao was still unhappy. Why couldn't it participate in this? Don't worry, leave it to us, little tiger comforted Du Xiaoyao kindly. Stupid tiger, don't embarrass yourself. I'll leave it to you guys, Du Xiaoyao said to the little tiger with her eyes rolling. Rumble, as Du Xiaoyao muttered unhappily, the aura under the divine thunder cauldron surged. The purple gold boulder trembled, and the mighty aura fluctuated. Countless people around looked up. The Heaven's Chosen lightning platform was only accessible to those with the talent of Heaven's Chosen. Anyone who could reach the lightning luring platform in the end proved that they were at the pinnacle of their generation. They were truly dragons and phoenixes among men and were the center of attention. As for the people who entered the top 10, they would be able to soar into the sky. The young men and women in the surroundings who had entered this place were all rubbing their fists and waiting for the battle to begin. Even those who knew they were not strong enough were eager to give it a try, hoping for a miracle. Boom! Within the space, an even more dazzling purple-gold lightning arc illuminated this space. It's starting. Climb the heaven's chosen lightning platform. This is the best test to see if you're a dragon or a worm. At this moment, a loud shout was heard. In a flash, people had already begun to leap up and reach the heaven's chosen lightning platform. Whoosh! At this moment, countless auras surged. The celestial chi in many young men and women's bodies began to circulate as if it was a conditioned reflex. One figure after another flew up into the sky at lightning speed. Bang, 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 but that was only for an instant. Just as the figures leaped into the air and were about to step onto the lightning platform, a terrifying pressure swept down. The weaker young men and women immediately fell to the ground like rain, all of them spitting out blood. That invisible pressure was like a 1,000-kilogram boulder. Those with insufficient cultivation could not withstand it at all and were crushed head-on. The faster and higher they went, the harder and harder they were hit. The stronger ones who reached the top also fell one after another. The higher they went, the more terrifying the crushing force was. It was like a natural chasm that could not be crossed. Even the extraordinary ones in the martial king realm could not advance any further. Their foreheads were covered in cold sweat and their faces were pale. Under the crushing force, they could not climb any further. Go all out and reach the heaven's chosen lightning platform. At the front of the crowd, Jiang Wolin's snow-white veil fluttered. Her celestial chi surged, and her pale yellow dress fluttered in the wind. Her ink-black hair was fluttering, and her eyelashes were deeply arched. The outline of her face revealed an otherworldly elegance. As soon as she finished speaking, a warm flame spread out from Jiang Wolin's graceful body. It was like a divine flame that was dancing, and she directly ascended the heaven's chosen lightning platform. Only those who can reach the heaven's chosen lightning platform are worthy of being called heaven's chosen. In the Spirit Sky Valley's lineup, An Lingjun was dressed in a green robe. He slightly raised his head and looked at the heaven's chosen lightning platform. His long eyelashes formed a shallow arc on his elegant face. An ancient aura around him rippled and rose into the sky. Climb the heaven's chosen lightning platform. Shen Ling shouted softly. His aura fluctuated, and a golden lion appeared behind him. It had 2 dragon horns on its forehead. It was majestic and majestic. It was like the shadow of a divine beast that had been resurrected. It stood behind him and could look down on all enemies in the world. Then, it rose into the sky wildly. Everyone, be careful. If you can't reach the heaven's chosen lightning platform, don't force it. Otherwise, you'll suffer a backlash. Sima Muhan shouted. Her graceful figure rose into the sky, and her alluring figure drew a seductive arc, climb. Du Shaoqing rose into the sky. Blazing green and red flames burned around her. Her speed was faster than Shenling's, and she instantly surpassed him. At the same time, Little Tiger, Du Yunlong, Du Xiaoman, Yi Piaoling, Silver Fox, Qian Guyu, Anya Cha, General, Gu Xinyan, Yi Machin, and Si Ruofeng began to rise into the sky. They wanted to reach the heaven's chosen lightning platform. I don't believe it. Du Xiaoyao raised his head and looked at the sky. His golden eyes fluctuated. He was unconvinced. He stomped his foot and rose into the sky. He didn't believe that he couldn't reach the lightning platform. Boom! However, as soon as Du Xiaoyao rose into the sky, a purple-gold lightning bolt shot down from the sky as if it had grown eyes. It landed on Du Xiaoyao's head with unparalleled force. Bang bang! Under the terrifying force of the lightning, the golden runes that were rapidly spreading around Du Xiaoyao's body were immediately destroyed by the purple-gold lightning. It hurts, his body fell from midair. The colorful hair on Du Xiaoyao's head was charred on the inside and tender on the inside from the lightning strike. Black smoke was even emitting out. He covered his head and kept jumping around, wailing miserably. Don't try it. This place was left behind by that supreme expert in ancient times. It's not something we can challenge. Shui Ruhan said to Du Xiaoyao with surprise in her eyes. That terrifying purple-gold lightning descended. Although Du Xiaoyao looked quite miserable, he was still able to withstand the lightning. However, it could be seen that Du Xiaoyao's real injuries were not serious. His defensive power was absolutely terrifying. Get onto the lightning platform. In the Divine Light Court, Qing Shengnan stepped onto the lightning platform. His slender legs stretched across the sky. His beautiful hair fluttered in the wind, and divine light fluctuated around his body. Zhu Shui, with bright eyes and white teeth, rose into the sky from the mysterious talisman sex lineup. Her long dress fluttered in the wind, and she was peerlessly beautiful. Dongli Qihuang stepped onto the lightning platform. With golden hair and a red robe, he looked extraordinary. His divine soul was gorgeous and outstanding. The lightning platform is the heaven's pride. Get on. 9 spiritual emperors stepped onto the lightning platform. Their eyes were filled with divine light, like the stars in the sky. The 9 scars on their bald heads were like 9 mysterious runes, flickering with light. They looked like gods descending to the world. Bang bang bang, puff, countless figures rushed onto the lightning platform. However, people kept falling down, and some martial king realm experts spat out blood. The closer one got to the lightning platform, the more powerful the pressure was. It was insurmountable. Only the true heaven's pride could step onto the lightning platform. It was the best test for whether one was a dragon or a worm. In the Divine Thunder Mountain Range, in front of the space-time talisman arrays of the 9 sects of the Central Province, everyone held their breaths and clenched their fists. They seemed to be more nervous than the young men and women who were climbing onto the lightning platform in the sealed ancient land. Senior Brother Huang, come on. Miss, get on the lightning platform. In front of the space-time talisman arrays of the 9 sects, all the disciples of the sects raised their arms and cheered for their senior brothers and sisters. Their voices soared into the sky. What's going on? The young master is not here. None of the disciples of the 7-star hall are here. Did something happen in the sealed ancient land? Did you not see clearly? Let's wait and see. On the 10th peak of the Divine Thunder Mountain Range, Elder Cloud Leopard, Elder Yun Ziqin, and Elder Yao Xing looked nervous and frowned. At this time, Elder Cloud Leopard and the others did not see any disciples of the 7-star hall in the space-time talisman arrays. They could not help but have a bad feeling. Boom, countless young men and women rushed to get on the lightning platform. All of them were geniuses of the younger generation in the Central Province. This was an invisible fierce competition. Looking at the figures falling from the sky in the space-time talisman arrays, there were also figures climbing higher and higher. In the Divine Thunder Mountain Range, countless eyes were burning with passion. Boom, the terrifying pressure was getting stronger and stronger. When it reached the sky above the lightning platform, even the martial king realm cultivators in the perfection could not get past it. Roar, the Beast King realm cultivators of the Beast clan had begun to activate their huge bodies. Their power increased greatly as they tried to get on the lightning platform by force. High up in the sky, Du Yunlong's figure was blocked. His forehead was covered in cold sweat. He could not get past it. I'm not a hero, not a human king, and not a human sovereign. But I have the heart of a powerhouse. I want to compete with the geniuses. This is yesterday's 5 chapters. It's not a small explosion, so I didn't tell my brothers in advance that I would add more chapters. Lil, you estimated that he would need a few more chapters to pay off the debt he owed when he was hospitalized last time. Lil Yu is not in debt, so he will pay it off slowly. Because of the debt, he has not rested for a single day during the New Year's Eve and the first day of the new year. Although he has not updated much, he is really working hard. He has not asked for flowers for a whole month. Brothers and sisters, you should know that once Lil Yu owes a debt, he is actually very shy. He really can't ask for flowers. Today is the last day of the month. Lil Yu will add more chapters today. These 2 days are also the most popular storyline. Therefore, he asked for flowers again. On the last day of the month, Lil Yu urgently needs flowers. He also needs to see the pirated version to support the original version. On the last day of the month, I sincerely ask my brothers and sisters to create a miracle. At the same time, during the most popular storyline, he will explode like he did in the past. By the way, I seem to have seen someone leave a comment saying that he has not exploded his chrysanthemum for a long time. Chapter 9:18. At this moment, Du Yunlong had nothing to worry about. He stretched his arms and activated his lightning martial vein. Lightning flashed around his body. Up! With a soft roar, a vast aura of punishment swept out. Du Yunlong immediately went up the lightning luring platform. What a terrifying aura! Many people were shocked when they felt Du Yunlong's aura. He's too powerful. I can't surpass him. Big brother, eighth brother, the heavenly guards are counting on you. Up in the sky, Duo Sha was close to the lightning luring platform. However, he could no longer step on it. At this moment, Anya Qing, Ying Yan, Yin Tianjue, and Gu Wuying were also in a similar situation. They had not reached the martial royal realm and were only at the peak of the complete martial king realm. They were only a few steps away from the lightning luring platform. Look, what is second brother doing? At this moment, Yin Tianjue was shocked. Hearing this, everyone looked over and saw that Qian Guyu, who was hovering in the air not far away from them, was facing the terrifying crushing force. Unbeknownst to them, cracks had already appeared on his body. Blood dripped from the corner of Qian Guyu's mouth. However, he gritted his teeth and continued to climb the lightning luring platform. Second brother, don't force yourself. You will suffer a backlash and the consequences will be severe. Gu Wuying shouted at Qian Guyu. He was worried that Qian Guyu would suffer a severe backlash. I'm not afraid. I can only surpass myself if I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. Qian Guyu turned his head and smiled. The talisman runes on his body flickered and a talisman array spread out from his body. The surface of Qian Guyu's body cracked under the immense pressure. Like a ferocious beast, Qian Guyu once again climbed up the lightning luring platform fearlessly. Pfft! Qian Guyu forced himself up the lightning luring platform. With every step he took, he spat out a mouthful of blood and the cracks on his body widened. After 6 steps, Qian Guyu was covered in blood. When he took the 7th step, Qian Guyu's body swayed. He was covered in blood as if he had used up all his energy. At this moment, Qian Guyu was only 2 steps away from the lightning luring platform, but he could no longer climb up. By the time the 7th kick was lifted, Qian Guyu's blood had already fallen to the ground like rain. Second brother, give up. Don't take the risk. Anyang, Ying Yan, Silver Fox, and the others shouted in unison. Their gazes were extremely solemn. If I give up, this will become my inner demon in the future. I will never be able to take another step forward. The Celestial Guard will never give up. Qian Guyu turned his head and smiled viciously. He coughed up a mouthful of blood and used the last bit of strength in his body to lift his foot up into the air. Boom! At this moment, lightning flashed around Qian Guyu's body, and a terrifying aura surged out. Not good, and Ying, Duo Sha, and the others didn't dare to look at it directly. They all closed their eyes, afraid that the ancient jade would be crushed into pieces by the crushing force. Second brother is fine. Duo Sha shouted in surprise. He was the first to open his eyes and look up. At this moment, Qian Guyu's body didn't turn into a bloody mist. Instead, there was a vast aura coming from the surrounding space. Second brother has stepped over me. He's breaking through. Guard! Yi Piaoling shouted. Her black robe fluttered in the wind as she rushed over to Qiangu Yu's side to protect him. Silver Fox was slightly surprised, but then his eyes lit up with joy. He immediately looked at Yi Piaoling from afar to protect Qiangu Yu. Second brother is so strong. An Yaing and the others were also overjoyed. They didn't expect Qiangu Yu to be so fierce and fearless. He had broken through from the edge of despair. He was probably the first person below the lightning luring platform. Boom! On the lightning luring platform, finally, some people began to pass through the curtain of purple electric arcs and descend. Dongli Qi Huang, 9th level spiritual emperor, Wu Ming, Du Shaoqing, Cheng Shengnan, Jiang Wolin, and Ling Jun, Ming Rongyin, Sima Muhan, Shi Longyang, Zhu Shua, Chen Ling, and the others stepped over and landed almost at the same time. They stepped onto the lightning luring platform together. Then, the surrounding pressure suddenly disappeared. They've gone up. Good job. They've stepped onto the lightning luring platform. In the Holy Thunder Mountain, in front of the space-time talisman array of the One Valley, 2 religions, 3 sects, 3 schools, and 9 superpowers, countless people were excited. They raised their arms and cheered. In the sealed ancient land, on the lightning luring platform, Dongli Qi Huang, 9th level spiritual emperor, Du Shaoqing, and the others stepped onto the lightning luring platform. Then, many extraordinary figures also landed one after another. Little Tiger, Silver-Winged Demonic Condor, Du Yunlong, and other martial royal realm and 7-star talisman masters from the various superpowers landed on the lightning luring platform one after another. Being able to step onto the lightning luring platform was enough to prove that they were extraordinary. There was no need to say anything more. Under the lightning luring platform, there were also dark horses. There were actually several unfamiliar young men and women who were martial royal realm and 7-star talisman masters. Some of these young men and women were rogue cultivators, while others were from small and medium-sized superpowers. It was unknown whether they had been hiding from the beginning or had broken through after obtaining an opportunity in the sealed ancient land. However, since they were able to step onto the lightning luring platform, they were qualified to be compared with their peers from the top 9 superpowers. It's Huang, He stepped onto the lightning luring platform. From now on, our 7 Moons Pavilion will prosper. That's Gu, He's standing on the lightning luring platform. God bless our Xianyu sect. In the Holy Thunder Mountain, as the unfamiliar dark horses stepped onto the lightning luring platform, many old men were so excited that their eyes were filled with tears, and their bodies were trembling. Under the lightning luring platform, a tall and sturdy young man with a faint bronze complexion stood a step away. Cold sweat covered the young man's forehead, and his facial features were distinct and deep. Looking at the lightning luring platform that was less than 2 steps away from him, a dignified radiance shot out from his eyes as he said, "Someone from Tianwu Academy must step onto the lightning luring platform today." As soon as he finished his words, the general's aura burst forth once more. It was as though he was a huge dragon coiling in the sky, and his aura could suppress mountains and rivers. With a large stride, he actually passed through the final 10,000 gene of force and stepped onto the lightning luring platform. Tianwu Academy can't have only one person at the top. Li Yuxiao looked at the general's back. On his fair and smooth face, his deep red eyes were suffused with a red glow. As he formed a seal with his hands, an indescribable dignified and devilish aura burst forth, and his aura soared into the sky. Step! With a loud bellow, Li Yuxiao took a step forward, and his red hair fluttered in the wind. Unexpectedly, his aura wasn't inferior to the general's as he stepped onto the lightning luring platform together with the general. They weren't martial monarchs yet, but they were able to reach the lightning luring platform as martial kings. This caused the youths from the 9 great powers to raise their eyebrows. I didn't expect them to surpass me. This time, Tianwu Academy won't be embarrassed. Gu Xinyan stood below the lightning luring platform, and her beautiful eyes glowed. Following which, her lithe figure slowly descended. Peng peng peng, countless people stepped onto the lightning-luring platform, but there were still people falling from the platform. There were a few extraordinary martial kings who were just a step away from the lightning-luring platform, but they were forced to stop in their tracks. There were even some who were just half a step away from the lightning-luring platform, but they could only spurt blood and give up. It was just a step away, or even half a step away. However, this distance was already worlds apart. Just like how a carp leaped over the dragon gate, the lightning-luring platform was the dragon gate. Those who leaped over the dragon gate would soar into the sky, transforming from a carp into a dragon. Those who couldn't leap over the dragon gate would still be carps in the future. Following which, a few more dark horses appeared. A few martial kings and beast kings who weren't even martial monarchs yet unleashed their terrifying auras and forcefully ascended the lightning-luring platform. Peng peng peng, there were people who fell to the ground one after another. There were even people who forcefully ascended the lightning-luring platform, but their bodies were crushed by the pressure. An hour later, apart from the dozens of Sky Prides who had already ascended to the lightning-luring platform, almost all of the Sky Prides who had originally blotted out the sky were pushed back to the ground. Other than those 8 figures in the air, there were also 8 figures. They seemed to be from the Celestial Society. What are the 8 of them doing? That's Yi Piaoling and Silver Fox. It's said that they were the ones who obtained the inheritance of an ancient expert and the inheritance of an ancient heavenly fox. Those people are the masters of terror. I wonder how many people they have killed here. Looking at the 8 figures in the air, many people on the lightning-luring platform and on the ground were astonished. On the lightning-luring platform, a young man with pale skin and thin lips frowned slightly as he looked at Qian Guyu. Behind this young man, a head of silky smooth black hair cascaded down like a waterfall, loosely tied up with a vermilion ribbon. He's breaking through. The young man's bright and clear eyes emitted a gentle and warm light, but there was also an aura that kept people away. He was Ming Rongyin, the most powerful person among the younger generation of the Dark Underworld sect. That guy can still break through at this time. He's not simple. A young man in white looked at Qian Guyu below the lightning-luring platform. His gentle and clear eyes were fixed on his handsome face, but his face was sickly pale. There was a snake-shaped badge on his shoulder. He was Shi Longyang from the Sky Snake sect, the most powerful person among the younger generation of the Sky Snake sect. Boom! The space trembled. With the support of purple electric arcs, waves of energy gathered and surged into Qian Guyu's body. I was shocked when I saw the flowers just now. I haven't been so wild in a long time. Lil Yu continued to write. At around 5:30 p.m., he continued to write. On the last day of the month, brothers and sisters, please give Lil Yu a miracle and beg for flowers. Lil Yu continued to write. Chapter 9:19. As this energy flowed into Qian Guyu's body, the wounds on his body began to heal, and his bones and muscles became even more powerful as runes appeared all over his body. At this moment, Qian Guyu's aura gradually grew stronger, and waves of vast energy spread out from his body like waves. Whew! After everyone calmed down, Qian Guyu exhaled a mouthful of turbid air. Boom! Qian Guyu abruptly opened his eyes, and his aura caused the surrounding space to tremor like rumbling thunder. Qian Guyu's physical body is comparable to that of a top-tier beast, even though he has just reached the martial emperor stage. Shen Ling stared at Qian Guyu in shock. He could sense that Qian Guyu's aura was monstrous. Second brother, you've broken through. Duo Sha was overjoyed. Yi Piaoling, Silver Fox, and the others heaved a sigh of relief. Not bad, I've broken through. A faint smile appeared on Chang Guyu's face as he looked up at the lightning-luring platform. There's not much time left. Big brother, second brother, eighth brother, hurry up and get on the lightning-luring platform. Yin Tianjue raised his head and looked at the lightning-luring platform. He had just reached the Martial King realm not long ago, so it was difficult for him to ascend the lightning luring platform. No, we've said that we'll share blessings and hardships. Today, the 8 of us will climb the lightning luring platform together. Anyway, someone from our world society has already climbed the lightning luring platform. Yi Piaoling landed on the ground. Her long black hair fluttered as she looked at Yin Tianjue and the others with her deep eyes. She said, since we are going to the lightning luring platform today, the 8 of us will go together. Are you afraid? That's right. If we want to go up the lightning luring platform, none of us 8 brothers can be missing. Qian Guyu's tall figure landed on the ground. His blue and white robe fluttered in the wind. His aura was like that of a ferocious beast. He stared at the lightning luring platform and said, with the 8 of us together, I don't believe that we can't reach this platform. Not a single one of us can be left behind. If you want to attack, attack together. Silver Fox's silhouette landed. Her silver hair swayed slightly, and her enchanting deep purple eyes carried a kind of innate nobility. Yin Tianjue, Duo Sha, An Yang, Gu Wuying, and Ing Yan exchanged glances. Their eyes gleamed as they shouted together, if you want to fight, fight together. Whoever is afraid is a coward. We never planned to give up. We just wanted you to fight first. Ha, Yi Piaoling smiled. Her eyes became sharp and her thin lips curved into an arrogant smile. A faint black xian qi suddenly rushed out and spread out like a wave. She shouted, let's compete on the lightning luring platform. 8 brothers, heaven-shaking general. Charge! Everyone shouted, and the 8 of them moved together, climbing up the lightning luring platform. There were restrictions under the lightning luring platform, so no one could help anyone. No matter how strong one was, they could not help others. They could only rely on themselves to ascend the heaven's chosen lightning platform. At this moment, Yi Piaoling stood in front of everyone, while Qian Guyu and Silver Fox stood on either side of Yin Tianjue, Duo Sha, and the others. The brotherhood of those 8 brothers is rare. Can they ascend the lightning luring platform? 5 of them seem to be weaker. Where did those 8 guys come from? They all seem extraordinary. In the Divine Thunder Mountain, in front of the space-time array of the 9 forces, countless eyes were focused on the 8 brothers. Puff, on the space-time array, billions of eyes were watching. Puff, on the last step of the lightning luring platform, 5 of the 8 extraordinary youths spat out blood. Their faces were as pale as ash. Can't cross it. Come on. Cross it. Come on. Outside the space-time array, some people were influenced by the Brotherhood of the 8, and they clenched their fists nervously for the 8 extraordinary youths. On the lightning luring platform in the sealed ancient land, the dozens of heaven's chosen who had already ascended the platform all looked at Yi Piaoling, Qian Guyu, and Silver Fox. Only one step left. Come on up. Little Tiger, Silver-Winged Demonic Condor, Du Yunlong, General, and Li Yuxiao clenched their fists nervously and stared at the 8 of them. 3rd brother, 4th brother, 5th brother, 6th brother, 7th brother, can you guys still do it? Yi Piaoling turned around and asked the Dark Knight fighters. Yes, who said we can't? We are the Divine Guards. It's just a lightning luring platform. I don't believe we can't cross it today. Blood dripped from Duo Sha's mouth. His face looked ferocious, and his murderous aura swept across the sky. Boss, we're fine. It's just the last step. Yin Tianjue shouted. His aura swept across the sky as if he had the courage to hold back 10,000 enemies alone. Good. After 1, 2, 3, we'll ascend the lightning luring platform together. Yi Piaoling laughed and shouted. Waves of light black qi spread out. Each wave was fiercer than the last, and the runes were dazzling as if they could suppress everything. 1, 2, 3, ascend. The 8 of them shouted in unison. 8 waves of aura swept across as they stepped forward together. Yin Tianjue and the other 4 shouted. Blood spurted out from their mouths as they exhausted all their strength. Their martial veins were activated, and a terrifying aura burst out as they stepped forward. At this moment, countless gazes fell on the 8 of them. They were terrified, and their hearts were in their throats. Boom, the space trembled, and purplish-gold electric arcs overflowed. Chi-chi, domineering figures crossed the purplish-gold electric arc light screen, and the 8 of them landed on the lightning-luring platform. The terrifying pressure instantly disappeared. Yin Tianjue and the other 4 had blood dripping from their mouths, and their clothes were stained with blood. The 8 of them looked at each other, and then they were all overjoyed. Ha ha ha, isn't it just a lightning-luring platform? Let's enter. Duo Sha laughed. Blood dripped from the gaps of his teeth as he stuffed an elixir into his mouth. What a ferocious 8 of them. They will be extraordinary in the future. On the lightning-luring platform, the young peak-level experts of the same generation from the 9 major forces were all moved as they looked at Yi Piaoling and the other 4. The terrifying thing about these 8 people wasn't that they were all ferocious. The most terrifying thing was that the 8 of them were of the same mind. With 8 such terrifying people together, their future was imaginable. Thinking back to the 7-star Hall of the Spirit Domain, it was created by the Honorable Artifact, Honorable Mad, Honorable Purple Sky, and the others. Now, the 7-star Hall was a colossus that was second only to the 1 valley, 2 religions, and the 3 sects and 3 factions. They have ascended. What a terrifying 8. Below the lightning-luring platform, Du Xiaoman raised her head slightly and looked at the sky with a smile. So powerful. All 8 of them have ascended. In the Divine Thunder Mountain Range, outside the space-time array, billions of people were moved. They heaved a sigh of relief for the 8 extraordinary youths. In the sealed ancient land, there were no more than 70 people who could step onto the lightning-luring platform at this moment, and most of them were from the 9 major forces. These 70 people were the cream of the crop among the countless young humans and beasts in the Central State. There were more than billions of young people in the Central State. Those who were qualified to enter the sealed ancient land were as rare as phoenix feathers and qilin horns. At this moment, it could be said that these 70 people were the cream of the crop. They could be called prodigies. They were the cream of the crop. Among their peers, they were existences that others could only look up to. They were enough to represent the pinnacle of the young generation in the Central State. However, for the prodigies on the lightning-luring platform, some were happy, while others were sad. In the entire sealed ancient land, they could not use any external force, including weapons. This was undoubtedly a good thing for those with strong physical bodies. However, for those with ordinary physical bodies, they felt helpless. They did not know why there was such a restriction in the sealed ancient land. Whoosh! In the Divine Thunder Cauldron, purple-gold electric arcs were fluctuating, and there seemed to be a mysterious rune. Especially the inverted Divine Thunder Cauldron, the fog in the cauldron was thick and deep. It was as if a peerless ferocious beast was opening its huge mouth to devour all living things. Rumble, the lightning-luring platform began to tremble again. The huge lightning-luring platform slowly rotated, and the purple-gold electric arcs enveloped it in a light screen. At this moment, everyone raised their heads. They knew clearly that the true prodigy tournament was about to begin. Whoosh! High up in the sky, electric arcs rippled in the Divine Thunder Cauldron. At the same time, the lightning-luring platform trembled. Purple electric arcs poured out in torrents, and the surrounding space suddenly froze. It's starting. Only 10 people can remain on the lightning-luring platform. Once the rest of the people leave the surrounding electric arcs, they will be disqualified and can no longer enter the lightning-luring platform. Sima Muhan said. She seemed to be talking to Du Shaoqing, Du Yunlong, Little Tiger, Yi Piaoling, and the others. Boom! All of a sudden, a terrifying aura erupted from the lightning-luring platform. Someone had already begun to make a move at this moment. Everyone was shocked and on guard. They looked over and saw that the person who attacked was Ming Rongyin of the Stygian sect. Ming Rongyin was attacking An Lingjun of the Spirit Sky Valley. Jiang Wolin looked at An Lingjun and Ming Rongyin with a frown. Warm flames spread around her graceful figure, and her pale yellow dress fluttered. Ming Rongyin, I'm not done with you. Although he dodged Ming Rongyin's attack, An Lingjun's eyes turned cold and merciless in the face of Ming Rongyin's sneak attack. Whoosh! An Lingjun waved his hand, and a mighty energy swept towards Ming Rongyin without even forming a seal. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Do it. Ming Rongyin laughed. The profound qi in his body surged out and turned into a terrifying energy hurricane. Chapter 920. Boom! Every day, there would be handprints condensing instantly in a qi hurricane would spin, turning into a huge qi black hole. It would devour An Lingjun's energy and even pull in many people around him. Ming Rongyin, you must be tired of living. Shi Longyang of the Xianming sect shouted. He was affected for no reason and his sickly pale face turned gloomy. He immediately attacked and a palm print with killing intent flew towards Ming Rongyin. Shi Longyang, this is between me and Ming Rongyin. There's no need for you to interfere. Get out of the way. An Lingjun shouted. He did not appreciate Shi Longyang's attack at all. Instead, he directly attacked and blocked Shi Longyang's palm. Shi Longyang, you're the one who's tired of living. Almost at the same time, Ming Rongyin let out a loud cry. Hurricane profound qi surged, causing the void to tremble. It turned into an energy fist and directly bombarded Shi Longyang. Boom! Shi Longyang attacked in panic. A huge python shadow condensed and blocked Ming Rongyin's fist. Then, he scolded, you two are crazy. I'm not going to accompany you. As he cursed, Shi Longyang's face turned ugly. He looked at a complete Martial King Realm rogue cultivator not far away and attacked him directly. Attack! Almost at the same time, Dongli Qi Huang, 9th level spiritual emperor, Wu Ming, Xiang Ling, and Sima Muhan attacked together. The people from the 9 forces seemed to have a tacit understanding. They attacked the individual cultivators and people from the small and medium-sized forces first. Roar! In an instant, a beast clan activated its true form. It was a terrifying ancient leopard. It was ranked very high on the heavenly beast list and was the emperor of the beasts. Its talent was shocking and its roar was earth-shattering. It was rumored that the ancestor of the ancient leopard clan was able to fight dragons. It was very terrifying. However, this Gu Bao was only at the Beast King realm at the moment. In the end, he was blasted out of the purple gold lightning arcs by what seemed to be 2 martial emperors from the Divine Light Court and the Great Will sect. He was no longer able to step into the lightning platform. Just because you're on the lightning luring platform doesn't mean you can stay until the end. Go! Dongli Qi Huang made his move. His eyes shone brilliantly as he attacked a young martial emperor realm rogue cultivator. The extraordinary young man had a solemn look on his face. The mysterious runes on the surface of his body glowed, and black and white light circulated, transforming into a terrifying force to protect his entire body. This youth was an outstanding talent, extremely close to the human king realm. His natural talent was extremely valiant. However, in the end, the young man was unable to stop Dongli Qi Huang. Blood gushed out of his mouth from the latter's attack and he had no choice but to retreat from the lightning-luring platform. Roar! Gee! The silver-winged demonic condor and the little tiger were being attacked by the martial emperors of the Great Will sect and the Divine Light Court. They roared and activated their true forms. Their eyes glowed red and their auras filled the sky. They were not to be trifled with. Boom! Du Shaoqing stared at Qing Xingnan. However, in the end, she did not attack Qing Xingnan. Instead, she pounced on a young martial emperor of the Great Will sect who had just defeated his opponent. The blazing green and red flames turned into a small sea of fire. Du Shaoqing made her move and immediately trapped the disciple of the Great Will sect. In a short time, the martial emperors of the Spirit Sky Valley, the Xiandu Gate, the Xianming sect, and the Sky Serpent sect attacked the general, Du Yunlong, Yi Piaoling, the Silver Fox, Qian Guyu, Li Yuxiao, and the others. There were less than 70 people in total. As they attacked, the people of the Nine Forces secretly had a tacit understanding to eliminate the people outside the Nine Forces first. The general, Du Yunlong, and the others were naturally not spared. After all, the people of the Nine Forces had already occupied half of the lightning luring platform. Rumble. The general, Li Yuxiao, and Du Yunlong used all their strength to suppress the mountains and rivers. Wild and overbearing auras spread out. However, their strength was still inferior. After a few moves, they were knocked out of the lightning luring platform. Let's advance and retreat together. Yi Piaoling, Qian Guyu, the Silver Fox, and the rest of the 8 brothers joined forces and formed a team. At this moment, they were besieged by 4 martial emperors. The 8 of them are so powerful. The 4 martial emperors were also embarrassed when they faced Qian Guyu, Yi Piaoling, and the Silver Fox. The strength of these 8 people was much more powerful than they had imagined. It was beyond their expectations. You are not strong enough to defeat us. Yi Piaoling and Qian Guyu shouted. Their bodies were glowing and their bodies were terrifyingly strong. Facing their peers, they firmly had the upper hand. The Silver Fox transformed into the pale moon Silver Fox. His aura swept out and he released his divine power. His roar was extremely terrifying. Bastard! The 4 martial emperors were besieging Yi Piaoling and the Silver Fox, but in the end, they were suppressed by their opponents. They couldn't help cursing in their hearts. However, facing the auras of Qian Guyu, Yi Piaoling, and the Silver Fox, the 4 martial emperors' hearts were pounding. They had to consider their options and retreat. Boom, there were less than 70 people fighting on the lightning luring platform. However, the battle was extremely fierce and made people's blood boil. This was the most powerful battle among the younger generation in the entire Central Plains. On the lightning luring platform, powerful meridian spirits, outstanding talents, king meridians, and all kinds of unfathomable methods were used. At this moment, one after another, their divine power burst out. Void Sword Shadow. In the Huijian sect, a young martial emperor formed a hand seal and a long sword appeared in front of him. This was the Huijian sect's most powerful divine skill. Great Sound Soundless. Inside the celestial capital gate, there was a young man who was a martial emperor. He shouted loudly, and a strange sound wave swept out. The sound wave could only be seen as talismans, but it was soundless. It caused huge waves to appear in the space and its power shook the divine soul. Break! Sima Muhan's beautiful figure flickered. The light was so bright that it shocked the sky. She suppressed a young martial lord. At this moment, everyone on the lightning luring platform was a genius. They were all at the peak of their generation. However, there would always be someone stronger. Among the 70 people, only 10 would be able to stay. Only the last 10 would be able to obtain the divine thunder body tempering. Du Shaoqing, Sima Muhan, and the others all knew this. Therefore, when Du Yunlong, Yi Piaoling, and the others were besieged, they didn't intend to interfere as long as they didn't kill them on purpose. They knew that they couldn't protect so many people even if they wanted to. On the lightning luring platform, they could only rely on themselves. Moreover, Du Shaoqing and the others had their own opponents now. Even if they wanted to interfere, it would be difficult for them to do so. Most of the geniuses who weren't from the 9 forces were blown off the lightning luring platform in a moment. The only ones left on the lightning luring platform were the World Society and the Divine Light Court. Finally, the geniuses of the 9 forces and the Divine Light Court naturally clashed with each other. In the end, only 10 people could stay. However, everyone wanted to fight with all their might. Rumble. The shocking battle caused the lightning luring platform to tremble. Terrifying air waves erupted. In the sky above the Divine Thunder Mountain, in front of the space-time talisman array of the 9 forces, countless people watched everything on the lightning luring platform through the space-time talisman array. Their hearts were filled with fighting spirit and their blood was boiling. At this moment, the most powerful geniuses of the younger generation in the entire Zhongzhou were clashing together. They represented the peak of this generation in the entire Zhongzhou. They're so powerful. Every one of them is terrifying. Someone clenched his fists. His heart trembled as he watched. In the end, only 10 people can stay. We'll know who's the strongest genius in the end. An old man's eyes were trembling. I wonder who will enter the top 10 in the end. The Divine Thunder has refined their bodies. They'll be so domineering and awe-inspiring, a burly man said, his eyes full of yearning. All eyes were trembling as they looked at the lightning luring platform in the space-time talisman array. They were afraid that they would miss any exciting scene. Waves of excitement erupted and resounded through the sky. Too powerful. They're all too powerful. Many people in the crowd clenched their fists in excitement. Their eyes were trembling. Yi Piaoling and the other 8 members of the World Society are so awesome. Some people had been paying attention to Yi Piaoling and the other 8 members of the World Society. They were so excited that they rubbed their fists and their blood was boiling when they saw that the 8 of them could still fight back fiercely despite being besieged by the martial royal realm experts of the 4 forces. What's going on? How could this be? On the 10th peak of the Divine Thunder Mountain, Elder Cloud Leopard and the others of the 7-star hall looked extremely solemn. At this moment, there were only a few dozen people on the lightning luring platform. However, there were no disciples of the 7-star hall. Elder Cloud Leopard and the others felt as if they had fallen into an ice cave. All kinds of bad guesses involuntarily appeared in their minds. It seems that the weapon Emperor Qiao Feng has been eliminated. All the disciples of the 7-star hall have been eliminated. On the peak of the Great Will sect, Leizuan's eyes were cold. Seeing that there were only a few disciples of the Divine Light Court on the lightning luring platform, but the weapon Emperor Qiao Feng and the other disciples of the 7-star hall were nowhere to be seen, Leizuan's eyes lit up with joy. A cold smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Roar! On the lightning luring platform, Shenling also activated his original body. It was a golden lion with 2 dragon horns on his forehead. He was majestic, like a divine beast that had been resurrected. That was the Dragon Blood Tyrant Golden Lion. It had a noble bloodline and was ranked at the top of the heavenly beasts list. The Dragon Blood Tyrant Golden Lion appeared in the sky. Its aura was wild and domineering. It was difficult for anyone of the same cultivation level to contend with it. What a terrifying Dragon Blood Tyrant Golden Lion! Seeing Shenling's original body, some people could not help but exclaim. His bloodline is not low. Chapter 921. Your bloodline is not weak. Shi Longyang of the Sky Snake sect appeared. He was about to attack Shenling. He waved his hand, and a huge python with white divine light appeared around him like a giant dragon. Heavenly Python Transformation Technique. Someone was shocked. That was the terrifying technique of the Sky Snake sect. Now that Shi Longyang was using it, it was even more terrifying. Shenling was not afraid, and Shi Longyang attacked. Soon after, the 2 enormous bodies collided with each other with monstrous power. The exchange of blows between these 2 people was simply going to overturn this side of the world. The golden lion roared, and the divine python hissed. They seemed to have endless power, and their bodies were surrounded by runes. Boom! They collided again and again, and the sky around the lightning platform shook violently as if it was about to collapse. They're so strong. Those are 2 terror lords. Gu Xinyan looked up at the lightning platform. The fight between Shenling and the people of the Sky Snake sect was shocking. Shenling, come on. Yin Machen, Si Ruofeng, Mi Zixia, Guzong, and the other disciples of the ancient sky sect clenched their fists and watched. Qing Xingnan was surrounded by light. Her hair fluttered, and her figure was graceful. She was fighting with a martial emperor of the Huijian sect. As the two fought, the energy collided. Qing Xingnan was not at a disadvantage at all. She was in control of the whole situation. The number of people on the lightning platform was decreasing. Some of the martial emperors of the 9 forces were also blasted out of the lightning platform. Bang! The silver-winged demonic eagle was overbearing. But in the end, it was defeated by An Lingjun of the Spirit Heaven Valley, who was no longer fighting with Ming Rongyin. It was swept out of the lightning platform. Roar! The little tiger roared and flapped its wings. Black runes surged like a black tide. Their lightning-like attacks were swift and fierce, violent and domineering. Little Tiger roared and severely injured a young martial emperor of the Divine Light Court. Just as he was about to take the opportunity to kill the young man escaped. Whoosh! The green and red flames surged and swept toward one of the 4 martial emperors who was attacking Yi Piaoling and the others. After Du Shaoqing finished off one opponent, she began to help. Facing Du Shaoqing, the martial royal realm young man's face immediately turned ugly. He was chased around the lightning platform. There are so many people. It's time to get rid of them. The Easternly Crimson Phoenix's figure appeared. Her divine soul shot out from her eyes as she began to attack Yi Piaoling and the others. Back then, the ancient heaven sect and the weapon emperor Qiao Feng had interfered and ruined his plans. Now that they met again, the Easternly Scarlet Phoenix would naturally not let them go. Boom! Facing the East mythical Red Phoenix, Qiangu Yu's expression turned serious. He pushed his physical strength to the extreme, and charged forward aggressively. Puff! Qiao Qiu's Qiu. Dongli Qiu. Qiu Qiu Qiu's. Qiangu Qiu had consumed a lot of energy in the battle. He spat out blood when Dongli Qihuang deliberately attacked him. You have some skills. But you're not good enough. Dongli Qihuang sneered. His golden hair and red robe fluttered in the wind. His aura was fierce and cold. Then, he appeared above Yi Piaoling and the others. Boom! A dazzling light shield spread out from Dongli Qihuang's body and engulfed Yi Piaoling and the others. The 3 martial emperors who were attacking Yi Piaoling had retreated far away when they saw that the situation was not good. Boom! The Eastern mythical Scarlet Phoenix's light barrier was like a bomb, suddenly exploding with a terrifying energy. Astonishing energy fluctuations blossomed on the lightning-luring platform like beautiful fireworks. Whoosh, however, it contained a terrifying aura that caused the surrounding space to ripple. The terrifying aura swept toward Yi Piaoling, Silver Fox, and Qiangu Yu. The terrifying force broke the defense of Yi Piaoling and the others. Puff puff puff, Yi Piaoling and the others fell onto the lightning platform from the sky. Yi Piaoling and the others fell. They spat out blood and looked pale. Dongli Qihuang's spiritual soul was beautiful, but it could not hide the coldness in his eyes. He landed on the ground and walked toward Yi Piaoling and the others. He did not want to let them go. Go and treat your injuries. Du Shaoqing's beautiful figure appeared before Yi Piaoling and the others. As soon as she finished speaking, a crimson light began to spread in her innocent eyes. It was like a dancing flame. A terrifying green-red light also spread out from her body. Let's go. Yi Piaoling, Qiangu Yu, Silver Fox, and the others stood up. Looking at Du Shaoqing's back, they gritted their teeth and left the lightning platform. Dongli Qihuang stopped. Seeing Yi Piaoling and the others leave, he looked at Du Shaoqing and said, "Do you want to use your true body? Do you want to try?" Du Shaoqing's expression was cold. A terrifying energy fluctuation spread out from her beautiful body along with a shocking pressure. Dongli Qihuang raised his eyebrows as if he had sensed Du Shaoqing's aura. The easternly scarlet phoenix frowned slightly as her eyes swept across her surroundings. It was likely that she would have to pay quite a price after dealing with Du Shaoqing. Now is not the time. When the time comes, you will know that you are not enough in front of me. As soon as she finished speaking, the eastern mythical scarlet phoenix had already turned around and left. She actually didn't intend to fight Du Shaoqing. Roar! Not far away, Xiang Ling's true body, the dragon blood tyrant golden lion, roared. A huge shadow of his true body rushed out. That was his innate ability, his strongest attack. The terrifying power was shocking. The surrounding space was about to collapse. Spatial cracks spread out and swept toward Shi Longyang. Shi Longyang attacked. The white divine python collided. Dazzling runes burst out. Violent energy swept out, causing the void to rumble. This ferocious battle had shocked everyone. Pfft! Xiang Ling's true body spat out blood. His huge body was pushed back. Finally, he could not stop himself and was knocked out of the lightning platform by Shi Longyang. Roar! Little tiger roared. The huge black tiger's body was thick and majestic. On its black scales, there was a deep golden color that faintly jumped. The tiger's claws stepped on the air, and clouds formed under its feet. It had the power to collapse mountains and crack the earth. What a strong black tiger! Although you are strong, you are not strong enough to fight me. Go down yourself. Wu Ming from the Huijian sect appeared in front of Little Tiger. He looked at Little Tiger's huge body and was quite surprised. The man and the tiger seemed to have been fighting for a long time. Bullshit. Hearing this, Little Tiger roared. It flapped its wings and emitted dazzling runes. Circles of golden runes were released and swept toward Wu Ming. Boom! Little Tiger seemed to have used all its strength. Its huge body was like a mountain that oppressed people, causing them to tremble in fear. Suddenly, Little Tiger flapped its wings. The dazzling black runes were like a violent storm. They suppressed Wu Ming like a large piece of thunder. 3 divine swords, 1 sword to kill. Wu Ming's eyes narrowed. He condensed his hand seals. Suddenly, an illusory energy sword appeared in front of him. Whoosh! At this moment, wind and thunder erupted from the energy longsword, transforming into a shocking rainbow. Wherever the sword passed, it was accompanied by lightning and thunder. It directly shot toward Little Tiger's body. Little Tiger roared like thunder. It did not dodge at all. A dazzling black rune appeared on the surface of its body and blocked the sword. When the sword fell, the dazzling black rune rippled. However, it resisted the terrifying sword. 2 swords to split the earth. Wu Ming attacked again. He leaped up and waved his hand. Another sword ray swept out. The second sword was accompanied by mysterious and dazzling runes. Its energy was monstrous, as if it wanted to overturn the earth and move the mountains and seas. Swish! When the second sword fell, the black rune halo around Little Tiger's body was penetrated and cracked. Its huge body was also forced back. 3 swords to split the heavens. Wu Ming did not delay. He attacked with the third sword. The sword ray swept out like thunder. It was as if 10,000 swords were humming at the same time. It was dazzling and flowing with runes. Each of the 3 swords was stronger than the previous. Its power was increasing exponentially. Crack crack, when the third sword fell, Little Tiger's black rune halo finally shattered. Then, the third sword's shadow fell directly on Little Tiger's body. It actually pierced through the indestructible black scales on Little Tiger's body. Pfft! Large amounts of blood flowed out of Little Tiger's ferocious mouth. Its huge body was forced back. I told you, you're still lacking. As soon as Wu Ming's voice fell, his figure strangely appeared in front of Little Tiger's retreating body. A palm print exploded with runes. It was extremely terrifying. It directly landed on Little Tiger's body. Boom! Little Tiger spat out blood. Its body was already in the process of being forced back. At this moment, its body was forced back even more rapidly. Suddenly, it left the range of the lightning luring platform. This stupid tiger is already very strong. However, Wu Ming is very terrifying. On the ground, Du Xiaoyao stood on Du Xiaoman's shoulder. Her pale golden eyes looked up. Her pupils moved slightly. She seemed to be quite interested in watching. Rumble. Almost at the same time that Little Tiger was forced out of the lightning luring platform, Sima Muhan, Zhu Shui, and Jiang Wolin, the three graceful women, also forced their opponents out of the boundary. On the lightning luring platform, there were dozens of people left after a shocking battle. Finally, there were only 10 people left. Boom! At the same time, the lightning luring platform trembled again. I'm here. There will be more updates today, but it will probably be very late. At the same time, Xiaoyu will continue to update on the 1st of tomorrow. Thank you to all the brothers and sisters for the flowers. I sincerely thank you. However, we are in urgent need of flowers. I beg all brothers and sisters for help. As for our pig trotters, these chapters have yet to appear on the lightning luring platform. Believe in Xiaoyu. Our pig trotters will have a super cool time. They will definitely. Chapter 922. Ka 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 ka. On the purplish gold lightning attraction platform, streaks of purplish gold light shot down from the inverted divine lightning cauldron's hole. The purplish gold light fell and turned into purplish gold boulders in the space above the lightning attraction platform. However, compared to the lightning attraction platform, these boulders were much smaller. They were only 1,000 feet in size. A total of 10 purplish gold light rays turned into 10,000 feet tall purplish gold boulders. They stacked on top of each other and spread out on the lightning attraction platform. These golden boulders seemed to be connected to the sky. They weren't big, but they were majestic and vast. Their auras were ancient and destructive, and purplish gold lightning arcs overflowed. Within the space, there was an ancient and terrifying destructive aura of lightning. This aura made everyone feel like a boulder was pressing down on them. They felt like they couldn't breathe and their souls were trembling. However, at this moment, outside the purplish gold lightning arcs outside the lightning attraction platform, there was a young man staring at the lightning attraction platform in a daze. This young man originally had a head of silky smooth black hair, but now his hair was disheveled. The young man originally had thin lips, but now there was blood at the corner of his mouth. His face was pale. He was Ming Rongyin, the #1 person in the younger generation of the Xianming sect. However, he had actually left the lightning attraction platform now. It was obvious that someone had suddenly attacked Ming Rongyin. Otherwise, with Ming Rongyin's cultivation and strength, it wouldn't be easy for anyone on the lightning attraction platform to force him out. And Ling Jun, you're extremely shameless. I'm not done with you. Ming Rongyin's bright and clear eyes were originally gentle and warm, but now they were blood red. He was furious and emitted a terrifying aura. However, Ming Rongyin couldn't do anything to An Lingjun now. Just now, An Lingjun had appeared behind him like a ghost and used all his strength to force him out of the lightning attraction platform. An Lingjun didn't have time to care about Ming Rongyin's roar now. He looked at the 10 boulders that had appeared. Runes surrounded them, and their auras were ancient and destructive. These purplish gold boulders floated in the air. They were supported by an invisible force, but they were as stable as boulders and couldn't be shaken. Sigh, outside the sealed ancient grounds, outside the profound underworld sect spacetime talisman formation, all the experts and disciples of the profound underworld sect became dejected when they saw Ming Rong's figure being eliminated. Xiao Chen was just one step away, but he regretted coming out. He missed out on the opportunity to refine his body with the divine lightning. In the future, the gap between him and Xiao Chen would only grow wider. The profound underworld sect had also lost a great opportunity. In order to refine the body with the divine lightning every time, the profound underworld sect had to prepare for 30 years. One could imagine how much resources they had to spend to nurture the younger generation of disciples. At this moment, the last 10 people on the lightning luring platform raised their eyes slightly. They looked at the 10 purple gold boulders floating in the air. A faint aura spread across the sky, causing people to feel an indescribable shock. The 10 purple gold boulders weren't big, but the shock made people feel small and insignificant from the bottom of their hearts. At this moment, the last 10 people were Dongli Qi Huang of the Great Will sect, 9th Heaven Spiritual Emperor of the Boundless sect, Qing Sheng Nan of the Divine Light Court, Wu Ming of the Huijian sect, and Ling Jun of the Spirit Sky Valley, Shi Longyang of the Sky Snake sect, Sima Muhan of the Ancient Heaven sect, Du Shaoqing of the World Society, Jiang Wulan of the Xiandu Gate, and Zhu Shui of the Mysterious Charm sect. Ming Rongyin of the Profound Underworld sect had unexpectedly been eliminated, while Du Shaoqing of the World Society and Qing Sheng Nan of the Divine Light Court had entered the top 10. All of this seemed surprising, but it wasn't. After all, Du Shaoqing and Qing Sheng Nan's strength had already spread throughout the sealed ancient grounds over the past 5 months. The final battle is about to begin. The higher the level of the Divine Thunder platform, the better the effect of the Divine Thunder body tempering will be. The remaining 10 people will fight for the final ranking. Who will be the overlord of the Heaven's Pride's battle? Those 10 people are the strongest among the younger generation of the entire Middle Continent. After the Divine Thunder body tempering, their strength will generally increase greatly. At that time, they will definitely be able to sit firmly in the top 10. Then who will be the last emperor of emperors among the 10 strongest? I wonder who will be the true overlord of the Heaven's Pride's battle, the Heaven's Prides of the generation. In the Divine Thunder Mountain Range, countless people were anxiously waiting. The final battle was the battle that everyone looked forward to the most. The 10 most terrifying people would erupt with their true trump cards and strength. This was a grand event that could only be seen once every 30 years. A battle that would shake the entire Middle Continent was enough to become the hottest topic of conversation for the next 30 years. On the lightning platform, 10 golden stones were quietly suspended in the void. There was a huge pressure on the golden stones, and it was an existence that couldn't be set foot on. The 10 huge stones naturally attracted the attention of the 10 people on the lightning platform at this moment. The 10 purple gold stones landed. The 10 people on the lightning platform looked up at the layers of uneven stones, and their hearts trembled. At this moment, the atmosphere on the lightning platform suddenly froze, and swords were drawn. Let's begin. Wu Ming looked up at the 10 golden stones in the void, and his eyes were burning with passion. He knew that the next battle would be the true Heaven's Pride's battle. Chi! Someone moved, and a figure soared into the sky. His target was the first purple gold stone. The golden stone was the body-tempering Divine Thunder platform. The higher the body-tempering Divine Thunder platform, the better the effect of the Divine Thunder body-tempering Divine Thunder platform. It was an item that must be fought for. The first to move was Shi Longyang. His aura surged out, and as if he had turned into a bolt of lightning, he swept towards the first body-tempering Divine Thunder platform. However, at this moment, the 10 people were on guard against each other. Everyone's target was the first body-tempering Divine Thunder platform. How could they let Shi Longyang get it so easily? Boom! Almost at the same time, the space trembled, and the remaining 9 people moved together. Their aura was so terrifying that it made the surrounding void rumble. Get down here. Dongli Qi Huang was the first to make a move. The gorgeous divine soul in his eyes fluctuated like the sun. A palm print swept out, shattering the space, and no one could stop it. After forcing Shi Longyang to retreat, Dongli Qi Huang directly swept towards the first body-tempering Divine Thunder platform. Stop Dongli Qi Huang! And Ling Jun shouted, and together with the others, they immediately blocked Dongli Qi Huang. They attacked together and trapped Dongli Qi Huang. do you want to stop me? In the face of the group's attack, Dongli Chi shouted. His golden hair and red robe fluttered, and he was incomparably majestic. The dazzling light around him was like a holy light erupting. Runes appeared in the sky and froze the space. If you want to go up, let's see if your strength is enough. Ninefold Spirit had his own means. Golden light erupted and enveloped his whole body. The 9 scars on his head seemed to be alive at this time, spreading light. His whole person was like a handsome Buddhist monk descending from the sky, breaking through Dongli Chi restriction. Golden runes rotated and rushed straight towards Dongli Chi. What a powerful ninefold spirit! The surrounding people secretly exclaimed. Ninefold spirit's strength was very powerful. The people who broke free from the restriction and froze together no longer targeted Dongli Chi, and no one attacked ninefold spirit. They all rushed towards the first body-tempering divine thunder platform. Bang, 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 bang. But this group of people was unwilling to let others wait first, and they immediately made their moves. Waves of terrifying power erupted, and the aura of the human king and the aura of the human emperor surged together. Everyone attacked with all their strength, wanting to fight for first place. At this moment, no one held back, and the moment they attacked, they sprinted with all their strength. Too strong, that's the strongest among the same generation of the major forces. It's really terrifying. Those are all true geniuses, dragons and phoenixes among men. Each of them is incomparably powerful. Outside the space-time talisman array, hundreds of millions of eyes were dumbfounded, and they trembled with fear. Even through the space-time talisman array, they could feel how terrifying and powerful those 10 people were. On the lightning platform, geniuses fought for supremacy, and the aura was terrifying. Countless powerful techniques and magical powers were activated, and the energy was monstrous, shocking everyone. The other geniuses, who had been defeated and blasted out of the lightning platform by these 10 people, were all secretly trembling when they saw the strength of the last 10 people, and they felt the gap in their hearts. The 10 people restrained each other, and no one could take first place. Once someone took the lead, they would immediately be stopped by the others. Rumble. On the lightning platform, runes were blazing, and there was a real roar in the void, shocking this part of the world. That kind of battle made people's blood boil. The strength of these 10 people was too shocking, and their strength was beyond people's imagination. The 10 people also went crazy, and they used all their strength to fight for first place. Who dares to block my way? Wu Ming shouted, and his expression was fierce. There was an energy sword in his hand, and his aura was disdainful, as if he had an invincible aura. He held the sword and pointed it at the human world. The ninefold spirit was wrapped in golden light, and its aura was terrifying, making people's hearts tremble. The ninefold spirit was too terrifying, and it was ridiculously powerful. It stood out among the 10 people. The first place is mine. Dongli Chi shouted, and his divine spirit was released magnificently, and the sacred light was surging. He was indeed the reincarnation saint of the Great Will sect, and he looked down on this world. Ma Muhan's beautiful figure stepped into the air, and her eyes were covered in runes. She activated her human sovereign martial vein, and her hand seals were formed, making the accessories on her wrist ring clearly. Under the brocade dress, Sima Muhan's figure was enchanting. Soon after, the mysterious runes of the talisman erupted, and a huge grass-shaped object condensed in front of him. Its entire body was sparkling and translucent, and the shape of the grass was like a mushroom. A terrifying pressure descended. Sima Muhan activated the undead grass vein spirit, and stood in the air. The terrifying aura spread from the grass-shaped meridian spirit in front of her, and she was competing with the other geniuses. Thank you, brothers, for your support for Xiaoyu today. Because I didn't sleep last night, I only woke up at midnight after the 6 p.m. update. That's why I said that the rest of the updates will be late. This is the 5th update from yesterday. Today is the first day of the month, and the fresh flower ranking will be refreshed at noon. Xiao Yu's update today will probably be released at around 4 p.m., and there will be more updates today. Of course, I will continue to ask my brothers and sisters to take care of the flowers today. When the fresh flower ranking is refreshed at noon, my brothers and sisters can contribute flowers. This month, Xiao Yu will work hard to write, and thank everyone for their love. Of course, in the next chapter, Xiao Du will return in style. I saw some brothers say that these chapters are lame, but I personally feel that these chapters are the most difficult to write, and the foreshadowing is absolutely necessary. Those brothers who are familiar with Xiao Yu's writing should understand, so I won't say much. Chapter 923. Sima Muhan activated her Grass of Immortality Meridian Spirit and stood in the air. A terrifying aura spread from her Grass of Immortality Meridian Spirit as she competed with the prodigies. Beep! The green and red light around Du Xiaoqing started to explode. A sharp beep sound that pierced one's soul was heard. A huge green and red bird that was only a few hundred feet long appeared. A terrifying aura instantly descended on this mysterious lightning-luring platform. Du Xiaoqing also activated her Baifeng Divine Bird's true form during the prodigy competition. The Baifeng Divine Bird was like a phoenix, a crane, and a phoenix. Its blazing aura evaporated all the air in the surrounding space, turning it into white smoke. That's the Baifeng Divine Bird. No wonder it's so powerful. Seeing Du Xiaoqing's true form, countless gazes below the lightning-luring platform trembled. Even the humanoid meridian spirit couldn't help but tremble. Don't even think about going up. Du Xiaoqing shouted. Then, she opened her mouth. Billowing flames accompanied by mysterious runes erupted like a volcano. It actually swept towards Cheng Xingnan, preventing Cheng Xingnan from going up. This kind of flame eruption made one crawl and burn. Even one's soul would wither. Worldly brilliance. Cheng Xingnan frowned. She could feel that Du Xiaoqing was purposely targeting her. Around her graceful figure, a dazzling light spread from Cheng Xingnan's body like a miracle. It illuminated her figure, making her look like an immortal. She had a kind of untainted aura. She was actually able to resist Du Xiaoqing's Baifeng Divine Fire. At this moment, Jiang Wolin's eyes were clear at the Xiandu Gate. She was facing in Lingjun. Her body released a warm but heart-palpitating flame that made the void tremble. Jiang Wolin's graceful figure was also covered in a set of armor that was burning with divine flames. It released a dazzling light, making her look like an immortal descending to the mortal world. And Lingjuan's runes shone brightly. He attacked Jiang Wolin with all his might. He had the talent of a king. He cultivated both martial and talisman Dao. His Xian Qi swept out. With the help of his soul power, his aura was surging like a mighty army galloping. The 10 people's battle caused the void to boil. Talisman Dao, the terrifying energy that could topple mountains and overturn seas. It made the experts of the same generation below the lightning-luring platform tremble. Too powerful, too powerful. Outside the spacetime symbol array, everyone was stunned. The strength that the 10 people had unleashed at this moment was so terrifying. 9 spirit-level spirit, you can't stop me. In the sky, the East mythical red phoenix shouted. The light around its body was like a holy halo, as bright as the sun. The Earth Spirit Mouse and the Ninefold Spirit continued to collide fiercely, the sound reverberating in the air was deafening, causing one's soul to tremble. What's left behind by the secret reincarnation technique is at most a remnant soul. You failed in your previous life. What qualifications do you have to reach the top in this life? Ninefold Spirit shouted loudly. Light swirled around his body, making him look like a god. I was reborn from reincarnation, who dares to challenge me? Dongli Qihuang shouted loudly, his voice resounding and deafening. His eyes shone brilliantly as his golden hair and scarlet robes fluttered in the wind. Step by step, he ascended the divine thunder platform. At this moment, Dongli Chihuang was like a divine warrior. Dazzling waves of holy light surged around him, making him look even more majestic and proud. "Get down," the ninefold spirit replied. Its voice was calm, but it was like the voice of Buddha, carrying the rumbling of the great Tao. A terrifying aura swept out, shaking this part of the void and blocking Dongli Chihuang. "You guys can fight. I'm going up." "Ha!" And Ling Jun broke free from Jiang Wolin's restraint and took the opportunity to rush up, wanting to seize the first body-forging divine thunder platform. "Come down." Zhu Shui appeared. At this moment, this delicate and beautiful woman was covered in layers upon layers of battle armor. This was not a real armor, but a condensation of her energy. On the armor, a terrifying aura swept out from Zhu Shui's body. It was as vigorous as a volcano erupting, rolling over and blocking An Ling Jun. "Humph!" And Ling Jun raised his eyes and waved his hand. A stream of light between his eyebrows turned into the shadow of a long sword. The terrifying power of the primordial spirit rushed toward Zhu Shui with a terrifying aura that attacked her soul. Martial Dao and Talisman Dao Dual Cultivator. "Unfortunately, so am I. The power of your primordial spirit is inferior to mine," Zhu Shui shouted. At this moment, a terrifying spiritual root aura erupted from her body. It was the power of the human sovereign. Surrounded by divine light, Zhu Shui's black hair fluttered in the wind. A thunderous light between her eyebrows collided directly with An Ling Jun. Over the years, Zhu Shui's body had changed too much. She had experienced earth-shaking changes in the profound talisman sect. Now, she was already the #1 person among her peers in the profound talisman sect. Swish, the two martial Dao and talisman Dao dual cultivators collided with the power of the primordial spirit. The sound was deafening, and dazzling talisman runes rushed in all directions like waves. "Impossible, how can there be such a terrifying primordial spirit?" And Ling Jun retreated, feeling dizzy. He was surprised that the power of Zhu Shui's primordial spirit was beyond his imagination. Whoosh! A huge phantom of a divine python soared into the sky. Its terrifying aura seemed to distort the space and sweep across the sky. It seemed that at this moment, the primordial spirit python's aura had risen to the extreme. It was incomparably powerful. Just as An Ling Jun, Zhu Shui, 9th-level Spirit Emperor, and Dongli Chihuang were fighting, it finally found an opportunity to rush toward the first divine thunder platform. "You think you can fish in troubled waters? Get down." In just a moment, Dongli Chihuang immediately found the phantom of the divine python. How could he let others touch the first divine thunder platform? He had been spying on the surroundings. Holy light lingered around him, and he directly collided with the phantom. No one is allowed to fish in troubled waters. At this moment, Ninefold Spirit and Dongli Chihuang seemed to have a tacit understanding. They attacked the phantom at the same time, and a terrifying pale golden energy swept down. Not good. The phantom didn't seem to expect that Dongli Chihuang and Ninefold Spirit Emperor would attack it at the same time. It didn't have time to react, and it directly met them. Rumble. The energy fiercely collided, and thousands of talisman runes stirred up the air waves. It made the sky brilliant, and then the broken talisman runes intertwined like waves. The phantom of the divine light shattered, and then a figure appeared. It was Shi Longyang of the Sky Snake sect. Puff! Hit by the joint attack of Dongli Chihuang and Ninefold Spirit Emperor, Shi Longyang spat out a mouthful of blood, and his body suddenly fell from the sky. Ninefold Spirit, you are still too inexperienced. It's over. At this moment, Dongli Chihuang's voice resounded in the sky. A terrifying fluctuation of holy light soared hundreds of feet high, and the energy surged like waves. It sealed and solidified a large area of space, and shrouded Ninefold Spirit and the others in the sky. Great Luan Sect's universe cover. Outside the spacetime array, many people were shocked. The Great Luan Sect's universe cover was a terrifying technique of the Great Luan Sect. Dongli Chi Huang wants to take the first Divine Thunder platform. Stop him. Once the universe cover appeared, and Lingjun shouted. Everyone except Qing Xingnan attacked together, and the energy gathered into a huge wave that swept over. Although the Great Luan Sect's universe cover was powerful, it couldn't withstand the power of everyone's joint attack, and it immediately exploded. Boom! At this moment, the sky trembled, and Dongli Chi Huang's golden-haired, red-robed figure had already swept directly to the first Divine Thunder platform. At this moment, the first Divine Thunder platform trembled, and purple-gold electric arcs surged out. Bastard, he took the opportunity to go up first. Everyone's eyes turned solemn, and Lingjun cursed loudly. Once someone landed on the Divine Thunder platform, it would automatically recognize him as its owner, and no one else could go up. The Emperor of all Emperors, the Overlord of all Elites, Dongli Chi Huang. Below the lightning platform, countless youths' eyes trembled, and their blood boiled. The Great Luan Sect's disciples even raised their arms and cheered. Outside the space-time array, in the Divine Thunder Mountain, the Great Luan Sect's Taoist priest of Changdao smiled, and all the experts laughed. The heavens are blind. How can it be the Great Luan Sect? On the sixth peak, Elder Gu Qingyang cursed, and the immortal-like aura of a peerless expert disappeared. The saint is invincible. Who can compete with him? The Emperor of all Emperors, the Great Luan Sect. Within the Great Luan Sect, countless disciples looked at the space-time array in the space-time array, and cheers could be heard everywhere. All the experts were so excited that their eyes were trembling. Qing Xingnan raised his head and looked at Dongli Chi Huang, who had already stepped into the first place. His eyes rippled with a soul-stirring power, and a complicated emotion appeared vaguely. It seemed bottomless, ethereal, and far away. Chapter 924. I missed a step. Ninefold Spirit sighed softly. Suddenly, golden light rippled on his body, and his figure rushed to the second forging Divine Thunder platform with lightning speed. Stop, Ninefold Spirit! And Lingjun shouted loudly, and a trace of obscurity flashed through his eyes. When he shouted loudly to stop the ninth-layer Spirit Emperor, his figure quickly rushed towards the third body-forging Divine Thunder platform. And Lingjun knew that Ninefold Spirit was a tough opponent. He didn't know the result of fighting for the second forging Divine Thunder platform. Besides, it would be difficult to stop Ninefold Spirit. He might as well let others fight for it, and he would easily take third place. Go down. Just as Lingjun was secretly a little proud, a cold voice sounded, and an illusory longsword swept over with wave-like rune energy. John Doe, I'm not done with you. And Lingjun shouted. Feeling the aura, he knew that John Doe was attacking him. He waved his hand and condensed a ferocious dragon phantom, directly colliding with the illusory longsword phantom. Rumble. The two collided, and suddenly thousands of dazzling lights burst out, and energy surged in all directions with splashing divine light. Chi-La. At the same time, John Doe's figure turned into a long rainbow and quickly landed on the third forging Divine Thunder platform. Rumble. At the same time, Zhu Shui and the others didn't stop Ninefold Spirit, and she landed on the second forging Divine Thunder platform. It seemed that no one paid much attention to Qing Xingnan. Her beautiful figure swept through the air, and she landed on the fourth forging Divine Thunder platform quite smoothly. Not good. The third forging Divine Thunder platform was snatched, and the fourth was taken by Qing Xingnan. And Lingjun's expression immediately turned ugly, and he immediately rushed to the fifth forging Divine Thunder platform. Beep! The ear-piercing shriek that affected the soul fell, and Du Xiaoqing's Baifeng divine bird body descended. She opened her mouth and billowed green and red flames. The green and red flames, accompanied by the monstrous talisman mystic patterns, erupted like a volcano, and suddenly wrapped around Lingjun in a strange posture and speed. Bastard! At this moment, feeling the high temperature under the flames, and his soul trembling, and Lingjun cursed. He felt that his luck today was really bad. It was too late to dodge. The surrounding space was completely wrapped in flames, forming a blazing sea of fire. Break! And Lingjun shouted, and his body began to shine with dazzling light. A powerful aura condensed into a huge handprint that directly swept away the blue and red flames. Boom! With a rumble, and Lingjun erupted. The terrifying power seemed to want to shatter the world. It was incomparably powerful. At the same time, Du Shaoqing retracted her body and landed on the fifth forging Divine Thunder platform. Boom! Almost at the same time, Jiang Wolin took advantage of the gap in the battle between Sima Muhan and Zhu Shui to land on the sixth body forging Divine Thunder platform. Whoever blocks me again, I'm not done with him. And Lingjun completely exploded as he shouted. Profound energy surged from his azure robe and his elegant face was almost distorted from anger. His originally clear eyes were filled with monstrous anger as he rushed toward the seventh Divine Thunder platform. Sima Muhan and Zhu Shui had just been taken advantage of by Jiang Wolin. How could they let An Lingjun take advantage of them again? They immediately formed a tacit understanding. Go down! Sima Muhan shouted. She activated the Grass of Immortality Meridian Soul and shrouded An Lingjun. Go! Zhu Shui formed a hand seal, and a spirit energy condensed into a long whip. It pierced through the space and went straight for An Lingjun. Boom! The three of them fought in an instant. Runes burst out, the void rumbled, and an energy storm swept through the void. Chi! The pitiful An Lingjun was forced to retreat again under the joint suppression of Zhu Shui and Sima Muhan. Serves you right, retribution. Under the lightning platform, Ming Rong gloated when he saw An Lingjun's misfortune. Boom! Boom! As An Lingjun was shaken down again, Sima Muhan took the opportunity to move like lightning. A pair of wings formed from energy condensed behind her back, and with a terrifying speed, she rushed towards the seventh forging body Divine Thunder platform. Zhu Shui's beautiful face froze. Then, she could only look at the eighth forging Divine Lightning platform. Pfft! Shi Longyang was as unlucky as An Lingjun. He was hit by the joint attack of Ninefold Spirit and Dongli Qihuang. Not only did he fall onto the lightning platform, but he also suffered serious injuries. When An Lingjun quickly got up and wanted to fight for a good position again, he had already found the top 8 Divine Thunder platforms. They were already taken. Chi! In an instant, Shi Longyang's figure pounced toward the Divine Thunder platform. You want to fish in troubled waters too? An Lingjun was furious. He swooped down at Shi Longyang. A terrifying aura swept out. His fist was crystal clear and surrounded by runes. An Lingjun completely exploded. He seemed to have used his full strength. His fist carried a terrifying aura as it smashed towards Shi Longyang. Thousands of runes collapsed. An Lingjun, I'm not afraid of you. Shi Longyang was definitely not to be trifled with. How could he be weak? He felt An Lingjun's aura and instantly made a move. They collided. Boom! The sound of the energy explosion shook the surrounding void. Broken runes shot out in all directions. The number one person of the two sects had all kinds of mysterious runes shining all over his body. The power he released made the surrounding void rumble. Pfft! In the end, Shi Longyang spat out a mouthful of blood and staggered back. He was originally heavily injured by Ninefold Spirit and Dongli Qihuang. Now he was at a disadvantage. Humph! An Lingjun finally defeated an opponent. His eyes emitted cold lightning. His aura also looked disdainfully at the surroundings. He instantly landed on the Divine Thunder platform. Bastard! Shi Longyang was so angry that he spat out blood. If he hadn't been injured by Dongli Chi Huang and Ninefold Spirit, he wouldn't have lost to Ling Jun. What made Shi Longyang unable to let go was that he was the first to fight for the first Divine Thunder platform, but in the end, he could only get the last Divine Thunder platform. Whoosh whoosh, in the dark space, a group of people flew through the air and landed in front of the mountain peaks. The mountain peaks were surrounded by mountain ranges. They were like dragons and snakes dancing. The towering mountain peaks were scattered in layers. It was like a majestic ink painting. However, this mountain range was filled with baleful aura. Black fog surged, and not a single blade of grass grew. It made people's souls tremble. Hundreds of people landed and looked at the sky. The sky was densely covered with evil spirits. The baleful aura in the air was monstrous. Below, blood flowed like a river. Broken limbs were everywhere. It was obvious that this place had experienced a bloody battle not long ago. So many evil spirits. On the mountain peak, Lin Weiqi, Stone, Dongli Diao, and the others all gasped when they saw the scene in front of them. At this moment, the hundreds of disciples from the 7-star hall were like a bowl of water poured into a lake. They would be drowned in an instant. Du Xiaofu watched the scene in front of him. Under his mask, his eyes trembled. He inwardly sucked in a breath of cold air. It was no wonder that every time the ancient sealed land opened, countless people were unable to leave. There were simply too many evil spirits. Many of them had powerful auras. It's too late. It's already over. Jiangchen's jet-black eyes gazed into the distance. His light purple robes fluttered, and his eyes flickered with regret. He turned to Du Xiaofu and said, "We rushed here at full speed, but in the end, we were too slow. It seems the dust has settled. It's about to end. Perhaps it's not meant to be for me." Du Xiaofu gazed into the distance. He could sense an ancient, boundless, and domineering aura of destruction. It seemed to be connected to his lightning veins. "Even if we made it in time, I'm afraid we wouldn't be able to cross this place, right?" Stone looked at the dense horde of evil spirits in front of him and sucked in a breath of cold air. "It's not difficult to cross, but there's no point," said Jiangchen, his eyes flickering. "You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.